Eastern Standard Time, and make sure you hit the like button on the closing show, because I do notice there's not enough like buttons on the closing show. So make sure you do that. We love you guys.
Paka paka.
Paka paka.
Hey guys, welcome to the close. Couple hours left in a positive trading session. Nice look here as we head back towards session highs currently for the overall market. Here we go. Let's have a look where we're at the moment. 0.7 for the S&P, 0.7 as well for the Dow there. The NASDAQ leading the way, a full percent to the upside. Right across the board outside of oil. Remember, this was down about 4.5 to 5% at one point. We even got down to 6 in the pre-market there, 3% now for crude oil. Bitcoin and Ethereum both back in positive territory. Nice green board to show you as well, right across the entire thing. NLSN up here 21%. Remember that deal got done, $28 per share for Nielsen. That was in the pre-market this morning. Deere standing out there a little bit, 5% to the downside. Lockheed Martin, some of the defense names back to the downside on some positive talk when it comes to Russia and Ukraine. Necessarily not negative, but not positive, kind of in the middle. Going in the right direction, we'll call it. Let's jump back in here. Consumer discretionary stocks, all in positive territory. There might be one there that's negative. Otherwise, we're looking pretty good. Ford up 6%. GM up 4.6%. That's Tesla, by the way, in the corner. That's just hanging on to positive territory. Tech shares are also higher on the day, along with healthcare. All of the airlines, 4%, 3%, 3%. Even FedEx up 3% as well. Quick look at a very green board for the NASDAQ as well. Only one or two here in negative territory for software makers. Everything else doing pretty good. Netflix having a nice day, 3.6%. Hi guys, hope you're well. Hope your afternoon is shaping up pretty well. A couple hours left in the day here. We're going to touch on a few ideas. Just watching IGMS. Remember, there's positive news on IGMS teaming up with Sanofi this morning on a research deal, up 41%. Huge move for them today. Anyways, we'll touch on a few ideas we had this morning in the pre-market. If you joined us, we talk 8:30 to 9:30 about everything you need to know heading into the open. Sean's going to lead the way right now. Hopefully, Lucas, my intro works here, but let's give it a shot. Here comes Sean.
It worked. Okay, what's up, guys? Trade of the day right here. And what we're doing today, one more time, cannot be ignored. Let's go over to AMC. But it's not like it was rocket science today. You follow the sticky note here. 166 people like it. 41 retweets. Let's go. Here it is, AMC right now. We looked at it yesterday. We crushed it yesterday, so it's back on our list here today. And all we're talking about here is 24.50. Watch the break at 29. I mean, I wrote it right down here, right on the sticky note. So let's have a quick look at what we were talking about. This is 29 right here. So there it is right there. Sticky note written, obviously sent out 8 o'clock. So as you can see right here, 9:10, let's call it 9:10. There's the break of 29, and we just go bang. Let's follow our own rules and why we want that 29. Let's just say, you can't just pick levels out of nowhere. So right here, go back into yesterday's close, right? Here's the close. You see the volume. We close excited back down here, 29, kind of around that level. So I was like, you know what? If we take 29 long, we kind of have some outs. I mean, I put the line down there, some bar-coded levels there. Worst case scenario, we're going to make sure that we get out at these bottom levels of 28. So it's kind of like $1 worth of risk. But again, I don't normally like to take stock in the pre-market, but the volume, obviously it ramps up when we open up. But AMC was doing volume from 7 a.m. So I didn't have a problem taking this trade and just understanding how it looks. Looks like it's a nice open stock, right? So we take it to the upside, and then it's just like, bang, boom, here we go. And there it goes, just ripping up, right? First spot's out like 29.50. That's this line right here, 29.50. Some outs up here near 30. Then we take a 30 out. And then we hold and we get out at 31. Look, honestly, we're long at 29. We're taking it out at 31. And that's that. We're done the trade. We did hold 10% back. It's going to look messy here because we have double shorts here. But look what happens. It rips all the way to 34. So I got to work on those diamonds. But honestly, we take the trade. We get in, we get out, and there's nothing to highlight here. I just want to say that that's where we got out. We got out at 31. We held about 10%, and we didn't even get out at the top. That's really, the frustration of that move. But we didn't know how far it was going to go. Then instantly, man, these are minute candles. So you go from 34.50 in 1 minute down to 32. right? Then the very next minute, all the way down here to 29. And guess what? That's where we halted. So when you're looking at my trades, we get out, you can't see it because it's covered up. We get out of the 10% for flat, so we make the money all the way up. We're already having a monster day here, but we take out the last 10%, still for a winner, right? Still for a winner. But then the purples are the shorts. I will 100 times out of 100 take the first halt. Okay, if it's going to the downside, I don't want to sit there and buy the halt. I want to take the halt short, okay? And I shouldn't say 100 or 100. There's always different situations. But on this stock, I was sitting there. Neil and I both, we were watching GME, we were watching AMC, and we're like, oh, it's going to halt, it's going to halt. As soon as it did, I just was boom, 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 boom. Hit offers as much as I could. I got 2 fills there, actually. So now I'm doubled up on the short. The problem is, when it reopens, and you can see the halt rate here for 5 minutes, when it reopens, it doesn't really do anything. I get out of some on the reopen, and the reopen print was flat. It actually closed where it opened at 29.07. It might have been 29.08, but 29.07 was the close price. I think it opened up at the same price and we got out. Then for some reason, it like ripped up to 30 and change, but it was just going nuts. I couldn't even get out, to be honest with you. Then it comes right back in, and then as it's doing this, we layer our orders because we have a decent amount of shares. So I'm just like, you know, bid, 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 all the way down, just layering them, right? So as it runs back down through, I'm getting out, which turns out to be right because it just kind of barcodes again between 28.50 and 29.50. So, okay, then where's my next trade? I'm not actually trading this like a maniac like I did yesterday. Now we wait, and I can develop this bottom here, right? We said, okay, 28. How many times, and I said this live on the show, how many times are we going to bounce off of these levels? Bounce here, up, down, bounce, bounce, bounce. So eventually 3, 4, 5 times a charm, I finally decide to take it. Remember, I'm in many other names, but we hit here at AMC, we take it and it's just like out, 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 out at all of these support levels again. Out on the way up, then we hold our last, I think this one was 20%, 20, 40, 60, 80, yep, 20%. We hold the last bid for a breakdown of 28, and you have to understand, this is why we do these trade of the days. It's not about, oh yeah, we won, this is a great trade. It's about like, why did I get out there, right? I already had this marked, and I explained why. These are the bottoms here of the pre-market, right? And we had this consolidation yesterday. So I wanted to use 28 as my out. Realistically, I should have got out and maybe shorted it, but we didn't want to short AMC today. Back over to here. Then it takes the 28 again. And again, look at this barcoding level here. As soon as we take out that top, just happens to be 28.50 or so, takes that out. We get out, 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 out. Back in here again near 29. So again, they're 50-cent wins. And then we hold the last 20% this time. And this time we get $2. So there we go, out again on AMC. The point of this trade was this. You got to get in if you see levels, right? We saw 29. We banged that to the upside. My biggest trade right there for sure. Then the halt happens. That's another reason for me to get in. So we get into the halt. I mean, I wish I would have been able to get out all the way at the bottom. Didn't happen. We got out there. Then we get in again. Why? Because reasons. And then this trade again breaks there, and then we hold. So the exact same reason why we held here is why we held there. So here it didn't work, here it does. Thank God this one was 20%, not 10. But it's your trade of the day. It's AMC, well structured for me.
All right, we'll talk about the other meme stocks coming up here as well. What a move for most of them once again today on crazy volume. Got to go where the volume is. We say it all the time. That's the list to the watch, or that's the link, I should say, to the watch list, guys, that we send out every single morning. They were all on there. Once again, we do all your homework for you. We put it in one spot. All you got to do is use your email to log in, and you can have that for free. Gore's Guggenheim, I believe this one's called GGPI, the SPAC, which is Polestar. Speaking of EV, Polestar just coming out saying, or it was Electrek actually that came out and said, Polestar 2 is getting Android Automotive 11, which is their third major Android version for automotives. And that caused this kind of pop here. We're going to talk about EVs anyways, guys, but GGPI, which is Polestar, the SPAC, as I said, probably the only one that wasn't participating to this point today, because what a day for most of these.
Yeah, I mean, look, realistically, there's been so many things that have run today. Just watched Rivian go through 53. It's been a wild, wild day's worth of action, and we're going to come right back sort of into some movers. I know Sean's in a bunch of trades. That IGMS you mentioned, Brennan, that's back on the move, back into VWAP. Just grab that long. I wish Polestar Look, maybe it'll continue doing some volume, but it snapped up and came right back down. So the second I looked at it, it felt like it was a bit of a one and done for a Polestar. Obviously, not everything's going to move. Tesla here has been holding it basically flat for most of the afternoon, above 1100, but not the big one today. I think we're really talking about the move Rivian just put on. Like, it just put a double top at 53. I was just short in front of it and stopped out. So it looks like this is the real runner in the EV space. And maybe Polestar can do some catching up. Kind of feels unlikely. Rivian's been in an absolute tear. I feel like if you're looking at the EV space today, Rivian has to be front of your list.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, that kind of a move is not. How much is it? 15. Yeah. So
right.
I chose Fisker, but you know what? Honestly, when the money's coming flying in here, we're gonna keep going with it. I think Rivian. I don't even know what. Do we have news like why? Specifically, it was, yeah, I don't know either. So we went long here on Fisker. That made more sense to me than Rivian. I mean, I love trading Rivian. You guys know that. And I actually want to short Rivian near that 50 level. Good thing we didn't. It's a 53 or whatever. But here we go. I just saw this happening today, and it was just a simple break of 1270, 1280 right there. So it's a nice little break. And thanks for the comments about the AMC trade there on the chat. 1280, it just broke to the higher. So we're like, okay, it's breaking out. I mean, it's really that simple. I've talked about this. You see Palantir today as well breaking out. We've talked about that over and over again. And I mean, here it is. Even if you look at a 20-minute chart, it was just starting to go. And then why did we take 1310 on this break? It was kind of like right here's 13. And then we just, I don't know, I think it was a pre-market level of 1310 or so here on Fisker. Let me just blow this up a little bit. Yeah, it was right there. So that's 955. So as soon as we made that top, came back in, then we were like, all right, if Fisker's going to take out the top one more time, then we'll hit that trade. It turned out to be a good one. So 1310 in, some outs here, 1330, and we're still holding a piece of Fisker. So it's been absolutely wild. The one name that we did, I mean, Neil put on a couple trades on this earlier, and we were on this yesterday, Tesla. Obviously, it did take 1100 again. Okay, yeah, it just took that. So I liked the 1100 break earlier if that had happened. But again, it only went to 1104, 1105. So just look at this level. We'll put a line right there. 1105 has stopped a couple times here. So if you're looking at Tesla, you may just want, and again, like sometimes these levels, I mean, it's not rocket science when we build these things, right? We just simply looking at charts and making the level. So if you go back to the full screen there, Fahad, thanks, man. You could see right here, this is 1106, 1105 bottoms. When we broke it, it kind of just clean went $25 down. Obviously, it needs the market to help that move. But then again, it bounces back up to that very same level. Stop, drop, maybe pop. So now we'll wait to see, but that's how you find levels. You just sort of zoom back out. This is only a 1-minute chart. And again, if you're day trading and scalping the way we do, then yeah, these are the levels that make a lot of sense. So if you're going to short, Tesla or go long, you got to look back and use some of those levels. But Tesla's still up that 1%. And yeah, split or not, I mean, this stock seems to be hot fire over the last little while.
All right, you guys are leading me here a little bit, but that's fine. I wanted to mention Tesla on the board, but we'll talk about oil here a little bit coming up as well, because something called pump, best ticker of the day, is getting pumped a little bit. This is an energy stock, but just took out 1350 there on a move back towards possibly going green. Also wanted to mention the 2- and 10-year yield, guys, just went inverted. So we've been talking about this for the first time since, I think it was 2008 was the last time this happened. So yeah, the 2- and 10-year yield just right now went inverted. So that's happening also. Let's go on to Peloton, because apparently you can now make any TV a Peloton.
Yeah.
Oh, you can attach.
No, but it's sort of like the natural, obvious next step.
I don't know.
Right? Like why? Like in truth, anyone that spends any time on YouTube and works out knows it's just like all kinds of content. So any connected smart device can be your workout, your trainer.
So that's actually big.
So does it make sense Peloton finally making this leap? I think a lot of people have said that they should have been doing this for a while. But like a lot of other names here, it is breaking out. I think that's the more important thing. Like we'll talk about the 50 period, and you can look at this bottom end. So it's not through that 40 level. Remember when there was a speculation they could get bought out? That's a bit different. Like that breakup was on that bio speculation. it's had a lot of resistance at the 30 point, and that's what I think matters here. Like, yeah, before that news, 30 was your bottom, it was the top of the bottom channel. It tested it multiple times, and now today you're actually getting a break. So it's a pretty good setup on the higher time frame, I should say. You pop it over to your 15, and this is what it looks like on a catalyst. That says to me, dip by the 30s, and then maybe even like have a nice little swing there, and you can get to the 29. So I like where they're at. Obviously, Peloton still has a ways to go in terms of figuring some things out. It's a nice positive step for them because it's not exactly the most difficult. It's not exactly the most difficult concept and product to emulate overall. So them trying to figure out a way to be a little bit more versatile makes a ton of sense to me. It's a great level that they're breaking out from, and if we can get a chance to buy a dip at 30, I actually kind of like that. The more I look at it, I'm probably just going to pop on the bid here. And of course, as we're doing this, other things are moving. I just want to know, AMC just broke out of its channel, breaking off above 30. So, and look, I know we have the rundown. We got to talk about it here, but AMC trying to break out of this bottom channel. It's got through 30 a few times this morning, but it couldn't get through the 31. It gets through that 31, and I think that's the point of interest. And if you're looking at GameStop, that's also making a run. In the morning, 190 was a big, big level, and it's already through that. So oddly enough, it's GameStop leading AMC so far into the 2 o'clock hour. That was the other way around this morning. AMC was the front runner.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have, if you guys know how I trade, you can just put this line right here, and then you will know where I will be going long on AMC. I mean, you just need a break of 31. It's that simple. We've already touched 31 there. We break 31, your boy will go long on AMC. We also do have right now a $2 winner on Facebook as well, buying the dip there. Like, we crushed Facebook. I mean, realistically, if it was a little bit trending better on social media, or on YouTube, we probably would have used Facebook as the win here. Big time win, hold it. Grab the $3 there on Facebook. Again, hold the last 20%. Actually, this was a third. This was a third. So hold 33% of this last bid there. And as you guys remember, it's all about education. I was yelling to the guys in the back about this 25.50 area. It held, and then now it's giving you $5 to the upside. So we reloaded that trade right there on this 228 dip. So there it is. Now we're holding a nice little win. I got to get rid of this here on Facebook as it continues to go to the upside. We're still in. Again, we're holding that third left. So pretty happy with this trading here on FB. Look, I think Peloton, you buy it. I mean, I don't know if people were buying it because if they could look down at a screen, but it makes sense now that I understand the story that, yeah, I mean, if you could just cast it to your TV or whatever, it's like when my kids are playing the Oculus, they just cast it to the TV so I can see all the ridiculousness that they're doing. So that's like, I think that's great for Peloton. I think it's huge. And people buy it for the quality of the bike. And I guess, well, yeah, they have the best quality bike apparently.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so people buy it for the quality. I don't know. People buy it for the quality of the bike and for the relationship, I'm guessing, with the trainer. So now you can sort of put it on your screen, and I like it, but anyways, I think it's a breakthrough 40 eventually of Peloton. I bought it for the buyout reason. You guys know about that. My average price is still below or above this. It's like $33, $34 because I did initially buy this at 40 on the way down for Peloton. So it's been, not a good hold, and I didn't get out of it. So we averaged back in here, 26, 27 on this break back upside. So our average price is still like 33, 34. So we're out of the money on Peloton. But with the valuation it has, new ideas, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what their next quarter is. Still not a great investment, that's for sure. But I do like that news, and I like Peloton. I mean, breaking upside 10% today, I think that's fantastic. It's riding the 50 period all the way up. Any kind of pullback is what we like. Pullback down here to 30 would be a great long for me because it goes with some of these levels that we've already touched. So, hey, I'm a fan of Peloton, and you're welcome, Mr. Bond, Justin Bond. Right there. Thank you for the $20, and you are welcome. But it's Neal.
I know. I tell
on that.
Look, that's what happens when you have a name that's not spelled the traditional way.
Well, both of us.
Well,
I wonder.
Hold on a second. Isn't that closer to 50-50? I actually have
That's
no
what
idea.
I was going to look up because Neil Patrick Harris, I think, is
Neal. Neal is like probably 95%.
Is there a famous
but Sean
Neal?
and Sean, like SEAN, SHAWN, like that's got to be close.
Sean Connery is maybe the most famous Sean. Well, I don't know. And that's SEAN, right?
Yeah.
So anyways.
Okay, he's a little older. But.
Yeah. Anyways, that's that. So thank you so much, Mr. Bond, for the super chat. Yeah, we're trying to do our best here, and I hope that every day we get better.
That's how we do it.
All right, let's go on to meme stocks, because wow, again today, I just brought up HYMC. Just about to cross the 300 million share threshold for the second day in a row here. But they all kind of look like this. We had to move down initially, and now we're just kind of chopping around going sideways here. But I mean, there were opportunities on what was a pretty interesting day number 2 for the meme stocks back in action.
So it's been a crazy, crazy day, because if you saw the open and Sean went over AMC, and it doesn't, you can pull up any of them, it's going to be a rather similar story. You had that monster break at the open, and then like just a crazy, crazy top and a rug pull that eventually had a couple of halts. I know GameStop halted to the downside. That's the one I traded, and it's a weird thing, because I'll tell you that GameStop was my best stock today, yet I missed the short at 200, which was exactly what I wanted. And then when I was saying that breakout and the place that we liked the long yesterday, 165, it seems a bit random, but when you went out to the daily, you could just sort of see, like, this is 165 on the daily. There's your 200 period moving average. And if you go screaming into a level like that, it ran away from it to the upside yesterday. You go screaming into a level like that in the face of a halt, it's a tricky long to pick up. And if you're trying to I like to have a stop in there. I just did not give this one enough room. So I did have that long in the bottom, try to capture it, got stopped out there. And that's what's frustrating, is that 200 and 165 were somewhat obvious levels out there, and still managed to only play the middles a little bit better. But as I said, they're now leading the market a bit. Some of the other plays on the outside did not have the same fate. I'll show you, like, costs can't get off the bottom here. So look for the relative strength and relative weakness out there, because some of these names are getting a bounce. Others are, really, they're just not moving with the group. And you got to keep that in mind. And so you use like GameStop and AMC as your futures. Right now, you're not breaking that 31 on GameStop just yet, but it certainly has an opportunity. Like, that's the level that stands out. Sorry, I mean AMC. That's the level that stands out to me. GameStop already went through 190 before AMC could get through 31. I was thinking those levels would be sort of side to side, and you'd catch a break and then take either or. But as I said, GameStop seems right now like it's a bit ahead. AMC 31 is a pure scalp trade. That CLVR, that's also moving. We'll probably get to that a little bit later. But GameStop, AMC, still trying to make some moves.
I feel like we have written on there memes day 2, but I feel like it's been like memes day 365 or something. Ever since these names started going crazy last year, there's always like one or two kind of Reddit type names, and that's what the memes are, right? I mean, it's kind of like hyped up over social media, stocks that don't really have a great underlying story, but have reasons to go up because people are trading them, and then that's good enough for me. And yeah, the only meme stock I trade, we traded Robinhood today, but I mean, again, that was something that, we could talk about Robinhood. I mean, we just kept pushing, and now it's not doing anything, but we just pushed through 1550, hit that long, and then pushed it through 16 and got that long, and it's a positive name for me today. So we missed it. I wasn't on it early. I'm going to talk about AMC in a minute. But I did remember the two biggest, not the two biggest, but two big moguls in, I guess, the hip-hop and R&B. There's Sean P. Diddy Combs. That's a Sean. Yeah. And then the one that I prefer there, Sean Carter, there, with The Rock. Is in the building. Rock. Yeah, so The Rock is in the building. So, and he spells it my way. So screw you, P. Diddy. But no, okay, that was that.
Yeah, that's
and
no
then,
contest right there.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take The Rock, Jay-Z any day, of course. Shout out to Beyonce. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, AMC today. We just talked about it on our trade of the day, so I'm not going to go over it too much. It's just about finding some key levels. We talked about that. I mean, if you're going to trade this thing blind, that's fine too. You could definitely see the momentum ramping up, and I think that's a big advantage that we have here at Day Trade the World, having live level 2s and everything like that. So just briefly, yesterday 29 was the bottom here before we closed, and then started to go a little bit lower, but we hit that 29 level. There it is right there, bumped all the way to 34. I wish I had an out up here, because that would look awesome, but I don't. And then it dropped literally $4 to $5. I mean, Neil just talked about it on GameStop, but $4 to $5 here in 2 minutes, all the way down. We wound up getting out of the last 10% rate here, and then we went short on that tick, hoping that it would open up a lot lower, but it didn't, and actually held these levels real nice. And then we just kind of scalped out, and there's another $2 winner. And then, like we just mentioned, we're waiting for that 31 to break. So for me, it was Robinhood and AMC. But I think the key thing is, you go to watchlist.tradertv.live. You can find the watch list there, and you can find the sticky note as well. And I mean, it's about looking at these names before you sort of see this happening. We had Robinhood with news today. We know it's a meme stock. Robinhood can be. And then AMC with the transformational deal news with HYMC and all that stuff the last couple of days. It did 300 million shares yesterday or 2-something AMC, so it had to be on the radar today. And then what a surprise, it's doing 177 right now.
So I chuckled a little bit when you said the transformational news, but there was a good question in the chat just now. It was like, is this the new paradigm? Is meme stocks here to stay? I can't, whether it is or not, I'm not sure is the point. The point that I think matters is that the whole idea that valuations and fundamentals matter. Like that's an idea. Because if a stock I've probably said this before, if a stock doesn't pay you a dividend, it's simply worth what someone else is going to give to you. And so the momentum is a real thing. And just because the stock makes no sense on its valuation doesn't mean it can't go up. That's not changing now that people have figured that out. The fact that the short interest can move a stock, the fact that the amount of options like call buying can move a stock, that's not going anywhere because the masses have figured that game out and understand it far better than they ever did. So whether or not that means you never look at valuations again, or you only trade stocks with momentum that have short interest, just do whatever makes sense to you. There's going to be these types of plays on a regular basis because there has been a bit of a change in the market. But overall, it's like a left brain, right brain thing. Like you don't want to get too caught up trying to play every single field. If you're playing momentum stocks and trading them, do that. It's when you sort of get caught between both and it's like, oh, I'm going to turn this into a hold because whatever, and then you start forcing reasons. And don't do any of that. When you're day trading specifically, you really just want to have a specific setup, a specific idea. I don't care what direction. Have an out, have an in, and then anything in theory can work out for you. There's no one way to trade. I think that's what we try to get across here. As I say that, AMC finally got to that, is back and forth about that 30 level, and it just feels like there is. I don't want to say iceberg buying, but every time it gets to 30, there's someone on the bid, and they just keep, and it's not size or anything. It's just someone pops up and shows size, gets filled, gets taken out, shows up again. So there is just a tremendous amount of volume on so many names. CLVR, which I'm trading right now, every time it gets up to 25, there's just a stacked offer that turns it. And then it got down to $3, and then there's just buyers that just jump in en masse, holding in that range. So you can scalp it from 20s down to 3 even. It's actually working that right now. It just can't follow through. And a lot of times, 2 years ago, a stock would do this, consolidate. When it would start to fall, it would just plummet. It would be a rug pull. But they're a lot stronger than they used to be. And I think the buyers just aren't as scared. They're ready to hold it for longer.
All right, a couple other things of note. Currently, we had Uber on the watch list this morning. Just made a day high there, 37.25. Being tested on Uber. We talked this morning about the San Francisco headline. They're going to add a taxi company to their app. However, there were a couple of other headlines just coming across for Uber. One of those, this goes back to a headline from last month as well. They said the same thing. They're going to look at options when it comes to offsetting the cost of gas for drivers when it continues to creep up here. So yeah. A really nice day once again here for Uber, up 7%. That one was on watch this morning. Also wanted to mention this Kroger because KR just popped up here, guys, on a note that they are going to allow activist investor Carl Icahn to select 2 directors to be added to the board, or nominees, I guess, and then they'll screen the nominees. So bit of a pop there on KR.
There's like that left brain. I was just mentioning left brain, right brain. I think Kroger is sort of a decent example of that. Like there's a stock which a lot of times might just be better for that long-term quality company. I think it'll work during inflation, but it's probably a little bit boring for what we're going to be doing here, and it's going to be that day trade. Just while we're at it, because I know we have to talk about some of the positions that we're in, I want to go to IGMS because before we came on, I was talking about 29 trying to hold. It was just a double bottom on the name. Went long in this little bounce. It bounced off 29. The second we took out the double bottom, threw in the chat like my out. I'm going to try to reverse off the 29 area and turn it into short trade. And this is just pure scalping. It broke 29, took a buck. Now I'm going to reload in front of 30 and throw a stop at 30 even. If it breaks out of this range, then I think you're playing off of the highs. And if it breaks 28, I want to be holding down to 25. So inside, I want to keep it tight to the vest. and make sure that we're not giving up too much. But if it breaks outside of these ranges, you want to get out if it's above 30. And if it does fall, you're looking at the 25 level. And IGMS, getting the Sanofi news, I mean, this is one that was on the watch list this morning and quite frankly wasn't doing a heck of a lot of volume. And then suddenly it exploded. Like this is, if there's an argument for like volume alerts, I'd say IGMS is at the front of the list because it was doing pretty much nothing, very, very quiet in the morning, and then just exploded at about 10:30 or so. And then the end result is just sort of speaks for itself there. It turned into one of the strongest names I've seen. Actually, no, it turned into the strongest stock I saw when it made that move at about 11 o'clock up to those highs at 35.
Oh, man. Frustrating stock. So just quickly here, I mean, I'm loving Ford. I mean, I'm not frustrated at all. I love this stock. We actually traded it really, really well today. But the problem is, like, we get in on a 17 break literally at 8:20, and so that's fine. So, nothing wrong with that. We have a decent amount of shares. It's fine. We don't have as many shares as we would like because, again, it's at 8:29, and it's not AMC, and it wasn't really doing great volume at that time. So we get in there, right? And then the problem is it just explodes the upside. Look, it's a big win. Couldn't be happier with it. But this is really where it's frustrating because even when we were on the show, it came back in here. And, on a name that I like off this kind of a rip, if it starts to retest and you have VWAP near the 50-period moving average, like that's a spot that we should have reloaded that stock, so we didn't. So that's another spot right there for Ford. If you find a strong stock, I mean, and we're going to talk about this in a minute again, but the same thing happened with Facebook, right? It's like we like the stock. We talked about how it was overextending the market. Facebook up 3%, NASDAQ only up 1%. And, so when it comes back in and finds me a level here, I reloaded it, and right now we have a $2.20 winner on board for Facebook, right? So it's like that's the kind of love right there. It gives the levels. Look how many times we reloaded, once, twice, and then it comes back in and it kind of does the same damage there. We got back in right where we got out and then hit this to the upside. So it's just like that on Ford, and I feel like that would have been really, like, we like the strongness of it. It was breaking out on the daily. I think we talked about that today. Here, let me see if you can see this. Breaking through 17, which is right here. We got through a lot of this garbage. Like I was saying, these are kind of like the wartime bottoms, I feel like, and the more we get, the more talk we get, the happier results, hopefully, happy. I mean, can't be happy with any of this, but, the better the results come through from the talks and whatnot, I feel like stocks are going to squeeze up a little bit, get rid of some of that sell pressure because there's a lot of money on the sidelines for good quality companies. You're seeing that with Microsoft. Apple's now 11 straight days up. I mean, I can't make this stuff up. If you buy the best companies, you should be rewarded. So right there on Ford, that's frustrating for me because we should have been, and hold on a second, I'm going to find it. We should have been, and we missed that opportunity. So for me, that was frustrating. You got one over there?
It's my frustrating one. It goes right back to yesterday in the afternoon because it was frustrating in the afternoon when I kept saying that of all the meme names going or squeeze names going, Bed Bath & Beyond, really on the higher time frame on the daily, it looked so gorgeous. And I know there's a few people in the chat that somewhat agreed. And it was simply a matter of, if you saw the way that GameStop and AMC were going this morning, it was easy to get distracted and have your eyeballs elsewhere. It's not an excuse, it's just the truth. And that's where I was. And it doesn't matter that GameStop went well because there was a better opportunity in Bed Bath & Beyond, quite frankly, based on the setup. The $25 level on Bed Bath & Beyond has just been so obvious and standing out there. There's been like one pump past it. It went $10 and then flushed back down. And every time it's gotten there, it's reversed. And then you fast forward to this morning, and when you get opportunities like this, remember we're sitting in that long in the afternoon waiting for it to go. It finally went near the end of the day when it was, we have to be flat. Sean and I have to be flat at the end of the day as day traders. It really couldn't follow through until the aftermarket. And then instead of opening back up at 27 even, it then shows you 25 all pre-market. Granted, it broke out at 9 o'clock, but you know what? It comes right back in after 9:30 to 25 and a quarter. And that's the sort of thing where if you're looking at that chart, the higher time frame, you pop an alert up there. It doesn't mean you have to have the position on, but if it gets below 25.50, you throw your little alert. I have my alerts up now, so Arun can't yell at me because I'm starting to use them a little bit more instead of just putting bids out at prices to get a bit of a fill and then you're triggered in. No, use the alert and see if you still like it. But it picked you up once and maybe gave it to you twice at 25.5, and then that was all she wrote. It was pretty much gone. And it was the last stock out of these meme names that I liked to the long side in the afternoon yesterday. So it should have been the first one that I looked for off of the same levels. And that's what you do. You carry that trade forward. As a day trader, you're not holding it overnight, but you can carry forward the concept and the level to the next day. And if it applies, great, put the same trade on. Just didn't do it.
All right, I wanted to mention a couple things here. Nikola having quite the day. 8% here for Nikola, guys, on an absolute tear on the daily chart. The CEO coming up on CNBC, apparently, so heads up on that. MTTR, Matterport, also out with a new product of some sort, so MTTR just popping up as well. But, I mean, this move on Nikola is pretty impressive, given that, I mean, they were talking about ramping up production of that truck, but we're right back to this 1150 area on the daily chart again.
Timing.
Bang with AMC right now. What's up, Nicola? Yeah, AMC just breaks 31, and unfortunately, I was too distracted, and I got out of everything right there. I would have liked to hold some, but it just rips right up there. We get some 15s out, we get some 20s out, and here we go to the upside right now with AMC. That was a mistake. I meant to be holding some, so if we can get back down in right now on AMC, but the destruction continues. There it is, man. Boom, we'll do that. I mean, we should have still been holding. We did get out a little bit early, but sometimes money is, and we'll take it as now it's fading back in. So there it goes. AMC takes it out. We destroy that on a scalp again real quick right there. So that turned out to be a good trade, and I'm not going to feel anything bad about that. But let's go over to Nikola. So that's just the AMC trade. I gave it to you guys. There it is, 20 cents. And again, get 25 cents was my max there. We got some out at 18 and then at 25. NKLA quickly on this. Yeah, I mean, wow. You know, hydrogen, we talked about this, man. What was the guy's name? Trevor Milton. You know, that guy's gone, and apparently there was some scam cities there and whatnot, including like pushing a prototype down the road and making it look like it was actually moving while the road was.
In some ways, that just takes balls, man.
That was great.
Like on some level, that's just some like James Bond supervillain stuff right there.
Yeah, it's like roll a truck down a hill and pretend it's moving. That's fantastic. But I don't. Was it proven that that's actually what happened? I don't know. But anyways,
yeah,
it is great. Yeah, was it?
No, yeah, I'm like 97% sure that was proven that's what they did.
That's hilarious.
That's gangster,
and the guy
man.
Still made like $500 million or something. He was able to keep some of his founder shares, and he wound up getting out of it. So see you later, alligator. That's twice I've said that. My kids must have had that in my head today. But okay, so yeah, a beautiful move to the upside, and I feel like it's just like everything that we've already talked about here a couple times on the show already today. Unfortunately, okay, I was going to say the charts aren't going to load, but there they go. I feel like it's just a lot of this is just breaking pressure, man. Like, here you go. These are the real bottoms. Like, Nikola's real bottom is like $9. It's just, it went down here. There was too much pressure. We had a lot of pressure from Russia, you know, the minerals, China, things like that, you know, equipment. Everything, like it put pressure on these EV names, right? And once that's gone, and maybe there's something else, and Brendan was talking all about it, but it's like, that's a big move. We're not taking out the 200 period. It's 17 million shares, and it's a mover, man. You saw Rivian going today. I think Nikola's a buy, but again, I'd rather it be more reasonable down here at 950. So that's kind of like where I'm talking about on some of these names. So if we ever got back down to 950 or so on Nikola, that's like a level that I think could be bought. I want to buy some of these bottoms because this is where I really feel like the true bottoms are. And it's just right now you're playing on straight momentum. There is short covering on a lot of these stocks. I'm not sure if Brendan mentioned what the short cover was here on Nikola. If I just look it up quickly here on FinViz is what I always do, and just so you guys aren't left in the dark, I'll just call it up. What's up? Let's go Packers. We better draft a freaking wide receiver. Because you know what? Aaron Rodgers ain't throwing for like 5,000 yards or whatever and winning the MVP.
I can still move a little bit
if he throws to Alan Lazard, but he's not bad. He's just an undrafted. He's done well, but look.
17% according to Brennan. What do they have?
That's what I was looking at right now. Short float 30%.
See, and again, those are always estimates.
I don't know, but 30, let's call it, let's meet in the middle. Let's go with 20 to 25% short volume on Nikola, but part of this is the squeeze.
Yeah, one note I'll put on Nikola there. The other way to play hydrogen is look at Plug Power, right? Like it's just another way not to actually bet on a vehicle working and something a little bit more related to the infrastructure. I know a lot of people hate on hydrogen, including Elon Musk. I'm not smart enough to comment one way or the other. There's lots of jokes out there, so I'll sort of stay away from that debate. But Plug is another way to express a bet in that space.
One of the hardest things to accomplish and understand when you first start out trading is deciding what type of trader you're going to be and what type of stock you're going to be trading, guys. In this video, we're going to touch on the different types of stocks in the market and a little bit on how we should approach trading them. But we have to understand, first off, there's many different types of stocks and many different types of ways that they trade.
100% there. And I'm going to start with an extreme one because I think, look, if you've watched AMC or GameStop or some of those squeeze type names, there's an excitement about getting those gigantic percent winners. So that's why I want to talk about that style. For lack of a better word, we'll call it parabolic movers. Whether it's gapping up 20%, 50%, 100% movers, this is what I want to go over.
I think they're like gappers.
Gappers is another way you can think about it. So I'll use an example, and the key thing you want to see here is either they are gapping or have already put in a monster move. So a gigantic move, anywhere from 25% or more, that's what you want to see happen. And it's really about how do you approach these once that's been the case. Now, it's all well and good to catch something the first time they move, but when you see something, and this is going to show you cost, because we have 2 days of big moves in some of the meme names, and cost essentially was a sympathy play. So it already put in a sympathy move from $9 to $11 at the close, and then it comes in at about $9 in the pre-market and breaks out from that price. So it then retraces that range. Now, when you are trading this type of a stock, you've got to understand, if you do not get long on the break and don't have a long near that bottom, chasing at the top is a dangerous game. Trading inside of a consolidation there can work in either direction so long as you're willing to take it out. If you go long at the top and it capitulates, you get burned. If you go short at the top and do not take your out, this thing could go another $5, $10, another 100%, halt to the upside on you. Always feel like you have to try and get the bigger move while keeping the tighter stop. That's the way I approached it. I missed out on the long because AMC and GameStop were going and traded those. But once it broke down, tried to take the short, tight stop, and you make the top wick. At this point, it's now broken down and is heading down towards support. Wait for the next curl, which was a nice consolidation here. Again, allow it to test back up. It was $11 here. It was $10.50 there. Once it rolls over, you cannot scalp that for a small amount of a win. Like, you've got to hold on to it for the bigger win. Sure, 10, 20 cent scalp trades can work on this, but when it is moving 10, 15% at a time, you have to have something on board to extend the move all the way in. That's the point. It doesn't work if you're going to risk going counter trend or taking a trade where it's moving that big if you aren't willing to hold on for a portion of the trade all the way back into the bottom end of the range. And it works the other way. If you're breaking out of the long here and you're taking a 10, 11.50 through the top because it holds a support, well, you better have some on board when it gets to 12. And maybe you should have some on board in case it goes to 12.50 because it's shown you that it's got that big of a move in it. And you already know that going in advance. So expand your horizons, but you can still do that while having a tighter stop.
Yeah, exactly. And tight stops is really the name of the game for almost no matter what style, but more specifically right there. So I'm going to go a little more broader, and we're going to talk about, growth stocks, dividend stocks, and just like the run-of-the-mill stock that you may be looking at. And my example today is going to be Facebook, but I think you can really apply this to any of the banks or any like I just mentioned there, any growth stock, dividend stock, anything like that, an indexed name, basically. And what you're trying to do is, and this is what I do, we talk about this all the time here as we live trade, you're going to try to find a name that is outperforming or outpacing whatever index you're looking at, right? So for me, if I'm going to look at Facebook right now, I'm going to look at the NASDAQ, and when I see that this is up double, so we got 1.5% on the NASDAQ today and 3% on Facebook, so then I've already chosen the way I want to go, and that's going to be long, right? And then all we kind of do is keep it as simple as possible. You look to see levels, and if we keep bouncing off of levels down here, that's where you go into scalp mode. And again, it's going to depend on your style of trading, but that's what we're talking about now. So I like to take these, scalp them out as they move back and forth. Remember, you're not going to get those outsized moves like you are on a cost or on an AMC where all of a sudden, bang, it just goes 30%. It's going to be very hard for Facebook unless there's some sort of buyout or something like that, or I don't know what, some decision that comes through. I've never seen Facebook move 30% like that unless it was earnings or something. But just on a normal day, you're going to have to find levels. And I just think that as you find the levels, you just want to go back to a little longer time frames. And even if you use pre-market bottoms like we did here, this 25.50, it just kept bouncing and bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. So we hit it and out. Like each one of these outs is 75 cents, 50 to 75 cents. And then what I've done is you always try to hold a little bit. And this is, again, based on whatever strategy you guys have, but you're trying to hold a little bit. So as we go, you get these 25.50s, get them out, but then keep reloading, and then you want to try to hold, because if the NASDAQ does go, so here's an example, the NASDAQ started to go, right? So we want to make sure that we're in a strong name. So Facebook is strong. We don't need to get the 50 cents or 50% move there like you get on a cost. You hold a little bit because you're more confident in your levels. So you hold it. This time it went all the way to 228 off this 225. So we take the 250, look where the level is. It's right back here. It breaks 228 and we get out. And then the same thing again. We let Facebook settle down. We have this 228 bottom right there that we're talking about. Push it down to 227.50, right? And then we go long. So it dips back into these key levels. We go long again, and we're still holding a piece. So look, scalped out 50 cents, scalped out 75 cents, and we're still holding a third, as I look right now, $2.21 in the money. So, long story short, I know this was a little bit of a long one from Neil and I, but I think it's important. You got to have your levels, but give it a little bit of time to breathe more on these kind of higher, not quality, but index names and things like that, because it will dance a little bit. You don't want to be wrong on Neil's stocks, so you got to get out ASAP. I think it's worth holding a little bit for these big rips like we have here in Facebook.
You got to understand exactly what it is you are trading, depending on what style of trader you are. So understand each individual stock is going to react differently throughout the day before we get too deep into a position, guys. I wanted to mention PHAS, going crazy right now. Phase Bio, just popping up here, just double checking on why this is. But heavy volume, guys, up 45% for PHAS.
There's just so many things moving. First, it was Pump was the one that you brought to us, and now Phase. This time it's actually Phase Bio. Pump actually didn't get the name of the company. I'm not going to lie. But look, every time you go to these, it's not simple as go over and punch in, although sometimes that works when Brennan brings it to our attention. Don't get me wrong. I always zoom out. Have a look at the higher time frame. What are you dealing with? Yes, you are now breaking up past the 200, breaking up past $1.50. The last time it did this, it sustained the move and didn't fall until the next day after. But if you do go a little bit further, you can sort of see at about $1.85 or so. I'm talking about right here. You can sort of see that big termination candle, sort of consolidated a couple of days and rolled over. It was previous support. I'm not saying that's your line in the sand, but that's clearly the next point of resistance. And to that point, it got relatively close to that before turning around. So I always try to get the lay of the land of the stock first. Does it still have, it's putting in a bit of a downward push. If it can catch a bid at that 150 that we just showed on the daily, where could it possibly go? Is there room above the current high for it to break back out? I'd say 185 is pretty reasonable, so there is still some room for it to go, but you want to see that volume come back in. So there's at least something to look for here. Can it bounce off of $1.50? You'd probably have to give it to 140 as a stop if you got 51.52s. Can the volume hold up? Right? It's not likely to hold up volume that it had at the top, but can it at least level off higher than it was earlier on in the day? And hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. I want to see volume if you're going something to the long side when it's already made a parabolic move. And just to come back to a couple of positions here, that IGMS, it did go in the money a couple of times for me. I reloaded in front of 30 to get 29.5. I could have taken some out here at VWAP for about 50 cents. And that would be 1-to-1. I'm sitting a little bit closer to 28 here, and I might just split the difference and go a 28.50 or so, just to get something. The way that it's trading right now, after it broke down, I thought it might hit the 25, but it's very, very slowly grinding downside. So I'm just going to take the bid up a little bit to get something out in front of this 28 level. If it breaks that, you got to hold, like I just said when we were doing the video, you've got to hold on to these for a little bit more. It needs to get down to 25. That's the next level, but it's showing some signs of strength over there. I don't see a reload in AMC yet, but the other side of that coin is, it was the opposite this morning. That's what's so weird to me, is that GameStop really did run. AMC, it was a decent break, but it got to the quarters. When GameStop went to 196 while that was happening, I'm a little bit surprised that it was GameStop that made the bigger run on that long. I was sitting in one that didn't work, that I got out of flat. Right as we opened the show, I was like, there's no point even mentioning it. I didn't really believe in it. And that's probably the worst exit I've had in GameStop all day.
Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, so I'll answer that question. Worldwide imports. Yeah, we didn't miss it. Valerie does a good job of letting us know if there's a super chat in there or a question. So it was right here, and I'll just address it, obviously. So we'll try to address any super chat. You know, that's a reasonable kind of question here. Do I trade? Oh, this is a different one. Sorry, that's worldwide imports. There was a different one, same guy, but it was, do I trade on vacation? No, I don't. But you know, I look at the stuff that I hold, but I don't sit here and trade. I mean, what we do on the show is literally like I need to be in. Neil's called this the cockpit, so I'll do it again. You know, I need to be sitting here, or else you just
Millennium Falcon?
Yeah, Millennium Falcon. Yeah, we need to be in the Falcon right here to trade, and that way I just feel more comfortable. So I will never sit there on my phone and try to do anything like this. But you know, as far as getting in and out of like, you know, maybe some marijuana stocks when they're going crazy, like you can get in and out. But I try not to focus too much because I'm literally like too passionate and too obsessed with it.
There's one thing that I should say, and I'm not. Day trade the world, there's offices all over the world.
Yeah.
And they're all sort of independently owned. However, there actually is the ability for a trader in one office to visit another trading floor.
Yeah.
Like there's a process for that. So in theory, like if there's an office in Barbados, I'm just throwing that out there because wouldn't anyone want to go to the Caribbean in the winter and then be able to trade on vacation? If there was an office in Barbados, if you trade on the Toronto floor, let's just say, you could always contact that office manager, say, I'm going to be down there. Can we do like a quick trader visit? And then you're able to log in on the platform. Like that is something that is available to Day Trade the World traders. Unfortunately, Day Trade the World doesn't operate in the States, so that's not something you could have done in Miami per se. But that's out there. It has been done in the past. We've had traders that have visited the Toronto floor from across the world and traded here while they're on vacation out of a couple of days. It can be done. It's just you have to get the permission of that office owner or risk manager.
Yeah, even now we have tons of offices, honestly, in the Caribbean, and we have offices in Mexico, all through Mexico, and all through South America, and you can wherever you want to vacation. I mean, it doesn't really matter. But I think it's a good question, and thank you for that. And I just think like it's important to kind of separate, you know, your personal life a little bit, even though if you look at my Twitter, I don't really do that, but you know, from what you're doing and stuff like that. So for me, I just take the time off. I'm literally, and Neil and I are literally here 220 days a year, whatever it is, sitting here trading. So I don't know, isn't it 256 days?
No, because there's 20, isn't it like 20 trading days a month? Something like that?
Yeah, that's what I think. There's 250. Yeah,
it's got to be.
For some reason, 256 is in my mind, but I guess there's holidays as well. Not that we get them. What's up, Ms. V?
Hey guys, chat is very active today, and I love seeing all the support, super chats, and likes, of course. So please make sure you like this video. And we got a super chat from Dominic Famolaro. Great day and show today, all. $5 for Taco Truck tacos on this Tuesday. Stay green, everyone. Thank you so much, Dominic. I hope you yourself had some tacos. Back to you guys.
Oh, I see. These guys are busting out some new Sean's here. Sean Wayans. Yeah, the Wayans brothers. Yeah. I saw Damon Wayans. I think I told you guys this a couple times in Vegas as a stand-up. So those guys are hilarious. I'm like, I mean, Neil and I both are big in Living Color fans. So mine's Fire Marshal Bill. I love him. So, I mean, that's where Jim Carrey, as far as I know, got his start.
100%.
And a lot of those guys, Key and Peele, like there's a lot of guys that come
They owe it all.
Yeah, David Allen Greer,
or
Damon Allen. Is it David? No, David Allen Greer. A bunch of these guys.
Actually, if you're into In Living Color, I'll throw one out that's really old school. I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. Now that's where they really all started. Like that's one of those. Like it's kind of like a Shaft, like parody type of thing. It's absolutely like Jim Brown.
I mean, people have seen Friday and all that.
Friday's into that pocket. Anyways, we do this, and it happens from time to time. But we do have a little bit happening in the market.
Sean Green, former Blue Jay. Sean
Green.
Former Blue Jay and Los Angeles Dodger.
Yeah, right? But Indy asked to get traded. You know what? In the back of my mind, I always feel like Sean Green blew up after he left the Jays. I know he was a good player for us, but he had his best years with the. Like, I shouldn't hate on him. He's old school. I was actually in the stadium when Sean Green hit it into the 500.
That's what I was gonna say. Like
I was there that game.
Yeah.
He was a beast. He was like a really thin guy, but super strong, great athlete. That's kind of random that came out. Sean Penn, people are talking about.
Yeah, I already saw that.
There's too many of them. There's too many of them.
I don't know who Sean Graham is. I'm not gonna lie.
And yes, J-Lo got her start as a fly girl on In Living Color. That's how she
became famous. Color.
You can do
what you wanna do. In Living Color. Yeah, sick show, man. And I'm going to go home and watch that. I mean, that show and the Chappelle show, I mean, come on. I don't think you can go wrong with any of those. So have a look if you have not. And just watch.
Dominic,
download Fire Marshal Bill. Or you know who else I liked? First of all, this is a trading show, but Homie the Clown. Homie the clown, don't mess around, like slapping people and stuff. That's probably where Will Smith got that from.
Oh my goodness, that's what we need to do. We should get a sock, and then every time a trader breaks the rule,
that's it.
Boom, homie the clown, don't mess around. And Dominic, look, I'm not even going to dignify that with a response. Don't talk that about my Jays. Because I was going to say that maybe
Kemp,
if you were a fan and you came to visit the office, then maybe I'd take you to a game because I go to all of them. But now it's not going to happen, Dominic, because you hated on my Blue Jays. Don't do it, man.
Yeah, what's up, Dominic?
That ain't right.
Packers. Okay, if that was the same Dominic, I didn't see who said it.
It is.
Yeah, Sean Kemp, the Rain Man. Why are we going over all these Seans? I mean, I already talked about a lot of famous ones. Okay, so let's just move on. All right, Facebook 230, still rocking and rolling. Let's get back to trading now. That was fun. Thanks, Neil. That was good. Okay, let's go back here. All right, so SoFi. You know, SoFi has been like really moving the last couple of days. Now it broke above like key levels. And when you're looking at dollar levels, come on charts, you always want to look at that $10 mark, right? I mean, and here's the break, right through 10, a retest back down, and it's up and away. It's not like a super crazy mover, but when you're looking at this, it's still 10%, and a lot of us like to see that kind of movement there. You did get some reload opportunities down here at 920. I like SoFi. We did pick this as one of the stocks of the year. I think it was at $14, $15, so it's down 40%. Not a good pick, but again, a lot of us are holding the bag on SoFi. We did think that there'd be some, unfortunately, my chart's only going back to the 9th here. I'll have to refresh these, but I mean, this is what I'm talking about. And again, maybe frustrating stocks, SoFi, but not really. It wasn't really on my radar, so I'm not frustrated with it. But this is the kind of break that you're talking about. It's the same reason why we're long Ford. You had 17, man. You bumped up here back on the 9th of March. You bumped up here on the 18th, and you bumped here on the 22nd, and then now today you're finally breaking it, right? So that's a good move for SoFi. So anybody long here, I think you can hold it back to 10 for sure, and then see what happens. So SoFi is a good look. Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. We keep missing these breaks, and I think Palantir, although I don't know if it's above or below 14, but
oh wait a minute, I'll hit a key, boom. Sorry, two things.
Yeah,
one, I'll go with the out on IGMS, and I'll show that in a quick second because that just rolled down, and I got that 28.5 on the 29. It was like 29.70 or 29.60 something average price. But this CLVR, this is now just to me like it's a VWAP retracement. It feels like you're not getting anything more than this. The degree to which you have to fight off of this 325 for a short, and even the long, like if you've been long this on the way up, like you're just fighting it in either direction at this point. So I think it's maybe heading down to 75, 80, but I might get some more shares out here at 290. This has just been, if you're long and holding it, it's been fantastic for you, but it's a short that usually is paid off by now, and it's just really slowing down. But IGMS, that Brendan brought to our attention this early. So once you miss a 25, it's slowly grinding down. I decided to move the bid up. I just got filled. Now it's about, can it break 28? And if it breaks 28, you're really starting to think about 25 down here. That one capitulation candle, you know, like one of these. Like that's what you're looking for here. When you're in the consolidation, and we just talked about that in the video, it's understanding that you can have a tightish stop around this 30, but if it follows through, it could actually give you $4. But if it breaks 28, I'm thinking it should be able to get down to this breakout price where it had a little bit of acceptance before. And that's what we sort of mean about expanding horizons. That's what we thought, and I know we both thought this, with AMC. It's a little bit surprising that you could have just wipe out bottom on AMC on volume, fail break, wipe out low, higher low, hold it all afternoon, break out the top, and then do nothing. So I don't want this to lull me into a false sense of complacency. Like, if it breaks it again, it might just take the same break a second time. Because you know what? It just held 30.5. It's not like it pulled back very far. So it might still be valid to try to take this 31 break again. There's just so much room to the upside. 32, 33 from this morning, let alone the 34 high. Brendo?
Not seeing anything on this yet. But runner a couple weeks ago, I want to say, Dragonfly just popping up here. Not really doing much yet. It's up 8%, but volume anyways coming into DPRO again. Remember, yeah, it was about 2 weeks ago. This thing went all the way up to about $4 for DPRO.
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
That was the drone play.
Ah, Dragonfly. Well, that makes sense. Good name. on that one. Just quickly here on Facebook, we'll go over to Dragonfly in a minute. I just want to give everyone an attention here because we are $2 in the money on this Facebook trade, and it just broke the 50 period. And normally I would use that to get out, but okay, now we're going to use this out very soon. I want to give it a little bit lower, so if we break through 70 is what I was going to say is my out. So there it is. There it goes the trigger, and there's the out. So right there, and again, you know, we always talk about you can't hold on to things forever, especially when you have a market like we do today, where the NASDAQ is up quite nice. You're heading into the power hour where we'll see if the market holds up. So we get out there, and I don't, you know, wherever it dances now, what was that fill? I don't even know the fill. Let me check my trade list here. 67, so a decent fill there. We get out at 67, that's fine. We wanted the 70 break, we get 67s, and we just gave it a little more room below. And look, the market's still up. I mean, we're not to get scared of this position. It's just we're going to take profits here on this trade. And now we sort of, like the fact that it bounced right there off 65 is actually a good sign, because now if we can get in a little bit lower, like into the 50s or something, then maybe we can reload. Nah, darn, okay. Yeah, darn. Okay, that now it's starting to pop up a little bit here as the NASDAQ was starting to go. I don't feel bad about getting out. It's just when a trade is below, for me, these key levels. Now, I know VWAP's all the way down here, but look at it ride this 50 period all the way up. So now that we're starting to go down, like imagine, you know, just watch the cursor, like, like maybe it starts to do this way. So we're going to get out of it early, and then, you know, if it breaks higher, we can get back in. So that's what I'm going to do. So we got to break above this, and then we'll look for some key levels. It kind of looks like we've wicked up here a bunch of times. So right at 230. So I think we can get long again through 230, then use that same out. So if it goes, I mean, a little bit more than 230. Well, I mean, 230.10, something like that, which is coming back in right now. So we'll use that opportunity to get back into Facebook. But I just want to bring that to everyone's attention that was going to be my out, and I just did take it there. So 230 to get back into Facebook.
I want to show IGMS quickly because I got trailed out there at 30 even. We were able to get some out. I'm choosing my other chart because I want to get to Vinco Ventures quickly. We got some out at 28.50 for profit, and then we said tight stop at 30 even. So we're out of that one. But Vinco, thank you guys for pointing this one out. That's why it's kind of why we love this. There's so many things moving, and you can't catch them all. But look at the clean break on Vinco, that's 315, into what has been like a week and a half worth of resistance at 330 to 340. Now, there are levels. Now, look, if it gets to 340 and there's a big wall there, fair enough. But when you see something like this, it's breaking out off the bottom, $2. It gapped up, and then look at it hold on the day, like right on the line in the 50 period, just holding all week long. Like when you get a cluster like this, if Vinco can try to break out of it and you get through that 340, yes, there's some overhead at that 350 level, but it's got a pretty good base of support. It tells you two things, that there's room to go, and if it pops back down into like this 3 area, there are buyers here. Like that's probably the more important thing to be able to see. It's a tricky trade off that long break because it's had overhead resistance the entire time, but when you see that, it's just been finding support at 3 even. So you write down 3, you put an alert when it gets to like 310 or something like that, that you want to try and pick some up. Now it's broken $3 and turn at like 94 or 95. So you really do want to be tight to that 3 even if we do see it again tomorrow. But yeah, Vinco's going to be on that radar. 340, 350. It needs to get through there to be a breakout. And Tesla's starting to come back down, back below 1100.
Yeah, sure, we called that exact level. I was long BBIG 90, and then now today it goes, okay, whatever. But that's why you want to look at those names. So I did go short on Facebook here, and I know I was just talking about the long, but the market started to tick down, and then we have the same it's the same resistance level. So watch this. Like we're short 93, we're going to get out at 10 once it breaks 10, so or 15 or so. I don't know what exactly, but it's up there anyways. In the teens here at Facebook. So we'll take out most 20 cents. We were already in the money, 20 cents on this. We didn't take it. So we're going to try to go with a little ratio here and see if we can get a little more down or a little down into this area, 229.60 or so. Almost, I guess, in the 70s. We'll take the first piece out, take 20 cents if we can, and then let it flow down. But my risk is no more than 20 cents, right? So that's where I feel like if the market does collapse a little bit, let's go. I mean, there it is again. We just took the 20 cents. So we just take 20 cents right there. We actually got 75s out there on Facebook. So, or no, we got 73s. So good trade there out on Facebook. I thought it was 75s. It's looking like, let me check my trade. This doesn't matter, actually. 75, yeah. So we get 75s there. So we take 18 cents when the risk is 20 cents. So that's so far so good there. And now we'll hold the rest and see if it blows to the downside now. But again, the market, you see what's happening here. The market's starting to go back up. So this is where I expect Facebook to go back up through through this level, but we will start scalping this name as we've obviously identified this level here. And if the market's going to fade out the rest of the day, you could see Facebook's having a problem right here. So maybe we do get this push back down, but I just wanted to bring that to people's attention because that's what we were doing on Facebook. I didn't want to say I was going to go long, and then you turn around and you notice that I'm short. So that's that. How about Draftkings?
Quickly, just to clarify, because I think Tisha just said I thought you were going long IGMS at 31. That was AMC that we liked the 31 long. We did that scalp already came and went. And look, if you need clarification, you can see the positions below, but just always ask for that because when two things trade at the same price and there's a break, it's easy to get them mixed up, and they're both moving. But it was AMC, not IMGS. Brendan?
Just saw this play pop up again. Dave & Buster's having a monster day, it's worth mentioning. Back towards the upside here, a little bit of volume you can see actually spiked to the downside, but moving back up. 15% or better part of it. Remember, they reported aftermarket yesterday. It was the earnings call this morning that happened at 8:30 that ignited this thing. And what a move here for Dave & Buster's guy.
It's insane. And I think I just said to Sean, I go, do not sleep in this environment. Don't sleep on any stock that reports. It doesn't matter if it's not doing volume in the pre-market. Just if there's a significant price level, if there's a trade to be had and you see it and there's something that lines up, just sort of throw the alert out there, have the level sort of marked down, and be ready to get in there at the open because play was doing absolutely nothing. The earnings call gets on, and then it's as clean a break as you'll get at the pre-market high, and then bouncing essentially in front of that price, and then just taking off. Like it showed you the direction, and then it tried to pull back, and then held support right at the same price it broke out. Like that's that sort of clean, pop, drop, and rock style of trade that you're looking for where the levels are pretty clean. GameStop just pulled back pretty heavily. AMC back to 30 even, and GameStop just pulled back just barely below this 90. However, that 185, where, I was long in front of 185, and I like the level. I don't know why I didn't hold it, but we're going to retest that 185, it looks like, pretty soon. If we get any kind of a snap down in and then any bid shows up, I'm probably just going to jump in front of it, give it to 84, and try a second time. It's a little bit different catching the falling sword. You really just want to see it start to slow down and stop, bid build up, and then try and catch it that way. I'd rather see buying first and have a little bit of a consolidation on the way down and then try and get it to the upside. Kind of what it did here, just hopefully not as violently as it's doing right now, but 185 has been a solid level all day long on GME. Vinco Ventures just pulled back, and CLVR, like I said, it's been a bit of a battle with this one. It cannot even get back to 285. Looks like the next up probably has to be somewhere closer to this 290 where we've been able to get shares before. But this is really, the volume's tapering off, yet it's not dropping, which just shows you like there's no one. Yeah, sure, it doesn't have the momentum anymore, but there's not anybody dumping their shares at this point. It's kind of a stalemate going on in this stock.
Yeah, we're looking, so we'll flush ourselves down the toilet as Facebook does this. I mean, we talked about relative strength, and then I went against it there, and we learned our lesson a little bit from that, and we reversed to the long. So there it is. So we lose 17 cents on about 2/3, because remember, we got to have a third. This is what we're doing on Facebook. We're trying to hold like out a third, and then where's my other? Anyways, doesn't matter. But we got 2/3 there, loser. So it's a losing trade. So that's that on Facebook. We switched to the long, and now we'll see if it comes up to 50, and we'll see about punching this one out. Actually, I'm just going to try to hold this, cancel my 50, and see if we can get going higher and higher here on Facebook. No real levels of concern for me higher than this. So you could see this is the 20-minute, and we've been loving Facebook for a very, very long time. I mean, we've been trading this at these levels and buying these dips and everything. So yeah, Facebook, just with an explosion movement. Facebook's up like 30% from these bottoms of 180. So nicely done, up to 230 right now. Yeah, about 25%, if not more than that, from the bottom. So here we go. Let's see if Facebook wants to work. As long as the market keeps going up, I think we should be okay holding this one. Ford is still 75 cents in the money, but really just doing nothing. You do have some of these breaks right now. Oh, I wanted to bring up CLVR. Because I know Neil's on that as well, but it was bouncing near that $3 one more time. I know it's kind of been here for a bit. Oh, there it goes. The moves to the downside there. Okay. So I just want to bring it up just because I noticed that this was right here, this $3 with the 50 period, including $3 right now. So just like when you look at a daily chart, I was talking about like all that garbage that was below for some of these stocks. This is kind of all that garbage that's at the top between 3 and 330, but we're up 52%. So I was thinking long here into power hour, which is right now, but it looks like it's profit taking hour to the downside right now. So you probably got to pay for shorts, I'm guessing, on this name. So I don't have any, but you're right near this, and I will. It's just I don't have any right now. You're right at these levels of concern for me. So yeah, you still are short. So right here, 285, 286 is a good level to look at for that one. I know Neil's got the short way higher. It's just if it breaks above this $3, then I want to push the long. So you'll see me get long if we take out this $3. But right now, it's just coming back in. So I know some of you guys are talking about CLVR. Neil already has the short, but I'm not. It's not at a shortable level right now.
It's still bullish chart overall, but it's pulling back now, but it's still trending to the upside. It has to break below VWAP, I think.
I just didn't look. I mean, I didn't look at a long time. I just was sort of giving you guys that outlook.
Oh, just quickly, because the market is breaking the high here, so not at the high, but breaking resistance. Someone asked about, like, what do I think about the NVIDIA move? Yeah, a good time to remind myself that I kind of bungled this one now that I look back at it. I understand that the market was coming down, and we did have 3 longs, 2 of which worked, but I didn't really hold on to anything when we got the 280 long, and then never revisited when it managed to hold back above the 282. So if you've got the long here, you just took out the 86 level again, and that's that big, 85, 86, that's that big level we're breaking out from on the higher time frame. So now that you're back above here, like, there's room to go. The market's taken out the high. This is sort of the thesis. When I got into the NVIDIA trade, I kind of thought it would be like Facebook this morning, where it should just grind and hold and see if it can't get back up to 300. Instead, it just fell like a rock with the rest of sort of the rest of the chip names, and it's now found that strength. If you can hold 85s, I really do think it has a chance to get back to the high. With only 50 minutes to go, you're at the mercy of the market. However, when it's relatively weak, it's going to be hard for it to get dragged up to the high of the day unless you are taking out the top, which we're doing right now on the NASDAQ, but you need to continue that move to get to the promised land. I was asked several times, am I shorting IGMS? I mean, there's always a price at which trade can be put on. For me, it wouldn't be here at 33. It's either off the high, and if it breaks the high, there's 2 nice round numbers above. They're 40 and they're 50. So those are the 3 scenarios in which I could see myself getting back into this to the south side.
All right, guys, we got that ambition for the cash right here as it's starting to go to the upside for Facebook. Just took out those levels, just touched 2230.60. The market is now making new highs, and wow, this has been an awesome run for the market. I think we lost Wi-Fi for a minute and then it reconnected back. Okay. So I think it should be fine now. You guys can do a test on our earpieces when you get a second, just so we can hear Brendan as he comes with always that good stuff there. So, okay, I think it was just a Wi-Fi drop. So, all right, I was just looking at Facebook. That high is that 360 now, probably 230.60. Probably should have tried to get out of that one. There it is. Yeah, it's working. Okay, good. All the way back upside there. That Clover's coming to the downside. Oh, Draftkings was another name I wanted to look at quickly because I talked about what's up to Alex Enzo there. He wanted us to look at that as well. There's Draftkings. What a big move back up through 20 again. So, okay, it's following the 50 period right now. Like, I'd like to go short some of these names because really I mean, there's a lot of names that have just extended themselves here. I mean, I don't have to tell you that Draftkings, I mean, just yesterday we were at 17 or 18 bucks. So now you're up to 20, a big move here today and yesterday. Well outsized move here for Draftkings. It doesn't mean that it's not going to continue to happen. It's just you just took the 50 period out after kind of barcoding lower. So that's a good sign to me. I think if you can hold this 50 period for a couple days, then I think you can get the okay to go long on Draftkings. But for me, I'm not convinced. So really, if I'm not convinced about one way, then it's going to be hard for me to hit the long button right now on this. So I'd rather short it against this day's high. But again, I never short something that's up 11.5% unless we get some reason. I mean, the market's screaming higher right now. So I don't see that reason here on Draftkings as Facebook just taking out the day's high again.
Oh my goodness, that's strong. It's going to end up at that 33 level. Should just, I don't know. It looked on the higher time frame like a hole to 33 and then just didn't do it. I'm now in again on GameStop. Let's see if you have to give this a little bit more room. I didn't really want to do that at the first time I got in. And you miss a breakout like that at 180, it ended up breaking at 183, 184, and 85 is a level I liked. And sometimes you miss a break like this, and when it gets to the price level you like, it just doesn't look as good. I need to give this one at least to the 85, even though it's 87. We said we'd let it come down, hopefully calm down a little bit, and catch a bit of a bid. While that's happening, like I said, I'll give it to 85. I'll take some out at 1-to-1, and then try to hold the rest for the low to mid 90s. AMC, have to put it on watch. It's not to say that they'll follow each other. Oh, you were?
No, yeah. Go ahead.
I'm also have to be concerned about the fact that AMC's not really breaking out either. If this reclaims 30 to the downside, it's probably going to take, drag this with it in terms of GameStop. So I do have to watch that, but I am into GameStop now. Not finally, but just one that I should have held the first time I had it. I had it right at the beginning of the 2 o'clock show, and then just immediately said to myself, you know what? The out that I would have to put on it, I don't love, so I just got out flat. If I don't know where I'm wrong, I don't love the trade.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. That's exactly how we think. I like long through this 3080, so I'm just going to see if it wants to get going here. Again, just a couple tops there. I know we've wicked higher to 3090 and stuff, but I feel like if we take out this 3080, then it probably wants to test some of these levels. I mean, AMC has been wild today. This is you talk about hit it and quit it. I mean, although we did mean to hold a little bit of this, we still did take a nice little piece there, and then you had that top wick. So I feel like we would have got out of this and not gotten too much trouble, but I don't mind this 3080 if we take it out and ignore some of these wicks. I don't really care about inside wicks like this, and what I mean is that when it's made inside here, then it's kind of like whatever, and I don't even really know if they're real wicks. But when a move happens like this where it's going I don't want to say parabolic, that's not true, but when it's going up like that, and you might not be able to see this little wick there if I zoom in, but it's right there, there's like a little wick to 31.35. Like when that's made, sometimes that will indicate back down in, and when you get all these little wicks inside, like this one, that's not telling me anything, this may have, but again, sort of like when you data mine and stuff, like I don't want to sit here and pick apart a chart where there's really nothing. So I'm going to use this 3080 right here, these top candles as a break. So if we're going to go long AMC, I'm going to use that. And then the reason why is that we'd have outs back down here too, near 3050. So lots of opportunity to trade AMC. What's up, Brendan?
A couple other things having pretty impressive days, guys. The first one, Dutch Bros up 15% today, back to 64 at day highs as well. The other one, DoorDash, there's DoorDash, 8.25%. They said today, guys, they've reached 1 million active users of their app, and that's delivery people using their app. So that's higher than pre-pandemic, apparently, for DoorDash.
Why not, man? There's some behaviors that you kind of feel like, are they really going away? Like, what's the extent to which the world has changed a bit? We were just sort of talking about some other names too. Like, there's so many of these types of these charts on the daily. I was looking at PayPal. It's not that something crazy is happening in PayPal right now, but you've had this consolidation trying to get above the 50 period. It just broke the 120 level, so there's room for something like this to go. If it can just close above that 50 period, close above that 120 level, which it looks like it might do. Very, very strong looking move if it can do that. And then so much room to the upside. And so it's weird that you will have a run this strong in the market and something looks like it's on the verge of a breakout. So it's a key thing. Allow these things to close on strength, because they're at these points where if they immediately snap back down below, you've got yourself a bit of a failed breakout. So GameStop, it's kind of like, did you get AMC? Because
no, did it break?
Well, so
no, I was trying to go long.
GameStop, as she came down, tested 185 there on me where my stop was, and is now right back to in the money. So it slipped down. I wasn't sure if AMC pulled a dip into VWAP as well, but
no, I was just hitting that because we'll finally just get out of our trade here on Facebook when it was just the tops here, and then all of a sudden, again, market started pulling back, and I was like, nah, I'm not letting this happen. So we just took a 60-cent winner, whatever that was on Facebook here on the highs of 80. Excuse me. I also gulp some water there as we go down here. So I got it out right here, Facebook, a nice win. Probably, Neil's talking about it going to 33. That'd be pretty sweet. And obviously without having it, then I'll be upset. But here it goes. We took the profit out now. Neil and I are flat at the end of the day, so thank you for joining. And we never asked for likes on this show, so maybe we could do that soon. But guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. We're sitting here trading. Did Neil just get into PayPal right now? No, but he's looking at it. So I'm
looking at it. Actually, it might actually set up better for tomorrow. If it closes above the 120, and I'm going to like the long in front of that kind of a level.
Our
tomorrow.
positions on the bottom. So as long as they're working, you'll be able to see what we're talking about. So that's why you don't see me with Facebook anymore. You know what? I'm almost thinking this would probably be hard to do, but like we could almost have a graphic when it was like position closed, like we're not in it anymore.
Well, it could flash or something.
Yeah, I feel like that's gonna take too much work. What's up, Ms. V?
Hey team, come on, Sean does so much for the community and all of you guys. He doesn't have to ask for likes. Team, you should go and like it right now. We have more than 3,000 people watching, almost 4,000. So please find less than a second, support the community. I remind you that likes are very pleasant for us to see, but also it improves YouTube algorithm so more people can find out about our beautiful community. Go long on the like button and back to you guys.
Yo, shout out to Crispy Trader. What's up, man? The best trading educational channel on YouTube. Thank you so much. And that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to be entertaining, educating, a little bit, everything all in between there. So thanks to Ms. V for that one. Yeah, so I mean, as part of this, we got to look at stocks that are moving. So Neil just touched on GME. I'm getting ready. I feel like AMC has a run into it. I don't know if it's going to mean that we can make any money off of this because I don't know. I'm worried about that level there. Like, why didn't it go? Like, when it took 31 here, I don't know why it didn't continue to go up. Like, obviously, off the open, we had the halt trade, and we've traded AMC. I mean, I don't know if a loser on it. So, well, I mean, the last 10% there, or 20% we lost on there. But, yeah, good trade so far. We do have this bottom of 30, but then like a top of 31. Just so strange that AMC is going to try to do this right now near the end of the day. So let's see if we get some ramped up action here into the close, and then we want to be long, not short. So I'm going to try to get long into AMC right here at 30.80. And again, the reason is, because I like the long. It's up 4%. I think we can go higher. And then also we have the 50 period right here. That's kind of holding. So as long as we hold between 30.20 and 30.50 here, then I like this trade and think that if we take the next step, then we just kind of like level up and break 31. And then after we break 31, then it's like all hands on deck. And we either we'd be a fool not to get something out near 31.20 where we did the first time it broke 31. But as you can see here, I don't want to go short this name. Although if GameStop starts to come down, you see what I mean? Like I don't see any levels here. So maybe your stock, did you have to pay for shorts, by the way?
On GameStop?
Yeah.
Shoot, it was so early.
Because I know I didn't.
When we do, it's really
GameStop
cheap.
has this level, 185.
Yeah, that's the level I like. If it breaks out, I'm out of it. I just don't like that reversal to the short. It's too far away from, like, where's the out? That's sort of what I get at. And if you wonder why sometimes you short things at a high, it's because you know where you can be wrong. It's like it's not that hard to say if it breaks 200, you're out when it breaks 200 when you short it. But if you short a 185 downside, okay, fine. Maybe you can give it to that 188. That's kind of sitting in no man's land. And the more I look at it, I could probably talk myself into that. But on the higher time frame, the 85 just looks like a good long, and that's where I want to start things off. Maybe it doesn't work. That's going to be par for the course. Someone just said, with the moves that are happening in EV, and this is absolutely right in the chat, which is pointed out, that Rivian feels stretched. I tried shorting it off 53, and it broke out. It is getting really close to the 50 period at 55 in change. So you are getting into some, I'll kind of keep it on here for a little bit longer. You are sort of getting onto these previous lows where it was bouncing heavily. And I talked about this, like you like prices that it runs away from. Because that way, if you get in, even if you have a tight stop, like your reward is pretty good in either direction. Like if it runs away from 55, well, what's it done when it got to that price before? Like it's either just traveled through and died, or it's bounced off it like a hero and gone back up past like the 60 level. So it's getting to a price level that's pretty significant at that 55. It's just hard to like a short here unless it was at or challenging the 55 even. Like you just sit in this, sit in it with only 35 minutes to go. You'd sit in this one for another $1.20 to try to get what? Like it's a really tricky trade to try and sit in off the high. If it makes one big parabolic spike through, that's just too much, too fast, into 55, sure, that would be set up for a quick little short trade. But I'm going to stay away from Rivian. 53 was just a double top. Once that didn't hold, I didn't really have a trade.
Oh man, I didn't even realize Fisker came all the way back here, but we're out. Like we only have that 10% of Fisker again. 9 outs all the way at the upside, and now it's coming right back into this level. So I wonder what Nicola's doing and all these other stocks. I mean, Neil just looked at Rivian, but coming back in 13.15 right now. Not a bad level. You do have VWAP there. It's just the momentum to me was the break of the high right there. So I'm not super interested in that. I just bought GameStop shares, so we'll shortable shares. So now we'll wait to see here. I don't have to borrow them anymore. I paid for them, so we'll see. I like this take. If it takes down 185, it's right here actually, 185.16 or so on GameStop. The level I was looking at was right, yeah, I mean, it's basically 185 flat, but some of these wicks. Anyways, 185.20 is what I'm using. So if it comes back into 185, it's still ways away, but who knows? If it comes back in, that's a name that we want to make sure to have on the downside. And again, see here it goes back up. So if we miss it, that's fine. Look at the spread. Like I'm honestly, I'm only crossing down to 185. So I don't want to like cross down to like 184. So if we miss it, fine. If not, fine as well. But that's one name. And then Ford right now just dancing. Disney, I don't know. I'm trying to find as.
Oh, I got to use this one.
XLE.
We're not using this one enough.
No.
We're on the march to 50,000. We're not waiting until Bitcoin gets to 50 to start using the congratulations in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
This isn't a Bitcoin trade. I just wanted to hit the key. But finally, CLVR gets to VWAP. It was a lot of times when a stock is this strong, up 30, 40%, when it makes a hard top and then gives this kind of rejection, it just goes right in. It doesn't give you any trouble. But this came right, it finally gets to 270. I'd taken almost everything out several times. There were a few reloads in there. There was even stop outs at the high of the day. And this is the other thing. You know, when you're counter trend trading, you'll make the top wick. But if it sets up again, sometimes you just got to get back in the trade. You suck it up and the setup's a setup. That's just part of the game. If you don't get back into the trade, then you didn't trade something that should have been a positive expectancy for you. But we're all done with it. Just in GameStop now. And I was looking at Vinco. Vinco Ventures just took out the high of the day. There is still 350 overhead, 340 to 350 overhead on the daily. And that's why I much preferred buying the dip here. Like you were saying, that $2.90 to $3. That's been the level to buy. You know, and it's just the way that it's traded the last week. I'm not saying you can't go long at the top, but the way it's traded the last week, well, what's been the better play? Has it been buying tops, or has it been actually getting in a little bit closer to 290 and 3 even? I think it's pretty obvious the last week and a half what's yielded the better returns for you. You've been able to win a little bit if you took the top. It just hasn't followed through until it gets to that 3 or through 350. As a matter of fact, it's pulled the rug every time it's gotten to this price. We'll see if it can actually hold up today. I'd buy in front of 3, not here.
All right, so there we go. So we're out of Fisker. So now, and again, we just looked at it. It was at 12, or no, sorry, it was at 16, 17. The bottom I thought might have been 12 right there. So here we go right now, and we're into GME right now. So there goes GME. Let's see what happens now. Different stocks starting to fall. We'll watch AMC as well, GME, and again, like there's the outside price. Like I was saying, it falls down, and we actually wind up getting that 185.05. So you know, very volatile name here. You know, you're not going to cry over spilt milk when you don't get great prices. But there's the break. We took that 185.20 break, and unfortunately we get 185.05 short right now for GameStop. So let's watch that as we get out of Fisker. Looks like a good one, but now we got to watch GME and AMC together. Give it to us, Brendo.
It might be time for the low floats to join the party, guys. Here's a couple. NRSN just popping up on huge volume, just went 4 to 5 on seemingly no news yet. Anyways, VIRX also trying to ramp here into the close on decent volume as well.
VIRX, there's a new one for us there. Look, it just, so Sean's stop was above 85. That's why I was like, oh, was it an 85 stop? Because I'm getting out at 85 of the long trade. I just don't think it's valid if we can't hold that price level. We're still in the pocket. And this is what we actually opened talking about here, is you can have either end of this trade, understanding that when it gets away from this price, there's room in either direction. That, like we said over and over, that really only works if you are willing to hold some for past 1-to-1. You can get some out at 1-to-1, but if you're not really holding anything past that, then you need to be doing much better than a coin flip in that particular case. But the price area is a good one to trade away from, and that's why we're going to be involved in it. And now that Rivian that got hollowed out, like now every time it gets to the high of the day, I am looking out for if it takes out 54 and can get to that 55 level. Like that is still a distinct possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but the closer it gets to the high, the market's at the top, you want to see if it can do it. On the other end of the spectrum is Tesla. Well, yeah, in a lot of ways it is the other end of the spectrum. Tesla really not doing anything. but I think the last time we saw this, I feel like in the last 10 minutes or so, and this maybe it was like a week and a half ago, Tesla was doing this when the market was running, and it just took some time before it got going. So I don't want to sleep on it, because if it gets above like 11.05, 06 here, there is some room on Tesla for it to go. And GameStop, I feel like your short's going to work out here, and part of that is AMC is about to take 30 even to the downside. And if it breaks 30 even, you gotta feel like it's gonna drag GameStop down here with it. Like, this is AMC. It just couldn't withstand that break. It feels like the shorts could come in. I don't want to short Vinco, but that just pulled back as well.
Yeah, I mean, AMC just took 30, and I mean, I'm still out of the money, a decent size here. Not decently, but I mean, GameStop's not moving. I'm looking over here because I have multiple level 2s up. I don't know. Oh, you guys have already seen this.
Yeah.
So AMC, I'm just watching AMC go. I mean, AMC just took down 30. Maybe I should have just stuck trading AMC because it broke the same level. Like, if I was looking short, I'd be short AMC right here at 30.15, now in the money. So, you know, the exact same trade on GameStop. I guess the trade on GameStop would have been at 186 break. So I don't know why I used these levels. Well, I know why. I explained it, but I just thought that would be good. But hey, let's not worry. I was gonna say let's not worry too much about it, as it's kind of in the money still. So we'll see what happens here. There it goes back up to the upside. We do, okay, so I want to get out here if we take out this 186.50. If we bust higher than that, we just tried lower. AMC just failed the 30 break, so you know, it's right back up. I mean, it went as low as 90 there and then came back in. So I'm not super confident anymore about this GameStop short as I was before, and I wasn't even that confident before. So here we go. We should have taken 186 on that break. We do have the bottom there, so AMC needs to go. I'm going to take 1/3 out for flat if I can at 185.20, which was the bottom that was just made there. So if we can get a third out, I think that would be the wise decision now, and then hold for that much bigger move downside. So let's see if we can get that. If we can get out some for flat, just so we don't get smoked if we're wrong on this name, which we could easily be. I mean, it's GameStop. Who knows where we're going to go here? But to the downside, hopefully we'll take out some pressure. And then realistically, I was waiting at 183. So if it can come back down into 183, then we'll be sitting there. It's like 183.50, right where this candle got going. So I think that's worth it. So, you know, if we're wrong, we're going to lose $1.50 at 186.50 or so, plus slippage. We might even lose $2. So to be right, we got to try to make that much. So 183.50 at least here for GameStop is what we're looking at. And right now, it's not going to stop me out, but it may continue.
It's close, man.
It's close. It's close. We'll see what happens. Here it comes. 186. There it is. Yeah. So now it's starting to take off here. So we're very, very close to getting punched out of this. If it does break 186.50, we don't want to get out of it all, but we will get out of a portion of this. There it is. So actually good. No slippage there. So out a little bit there on GameStop, which is fine. Well worth the risk for me. Let's see if it now comes back down in. If not, fine. We have our plan of action.
I'm kind of kicking myself over two things. One, look, well, not really on IGMS, because I only really like the high of the day, and that's what we said. But it does pull back into VWAP. But, you know, Brendan did mention Peloton to us at the beginning of the show. And, yeah, like there's at the time, in not, you know, in defense, at the time it really didn't feel like it was, you know, pushing. The volume had tapered off a little bit. It even started to pull back off 31. And now look at this thing go. Like, it's absolutely racing. The volume's picked up on Peloton. I did like the dip to 30. At this point, you got to be thinking, if there's a dip to 31 or even in front of that, this could be the long train. I mean, it's still got a clean breakout on every single, on the daily chart. It's a huge breakout at 30 even. So maybe this can be the runner into the afternoon. I like it in front of 31. Just want to know we're wrong. And I think it's at 30.75. So I want to get a long that I can take in front of that price. Brendan.
Better late than never. I mentioned Nicholas, CEO on CNBC. He finally got there. So right now, happening now, Nicholas, CEO, guys, on CNBC.
So no big deal there, but you're going to see a different price for me. I thought I put in 187 when we wanted to get out. It didn't even touch 187. I guess I must have put in 186, and I pushed enter, and then I just immediately got right back in. So unfortunately, we pushed the out there, so it's going to look like a worse loss. But if it takes that one, so I got back in. So that's why if you're like, oh, why is the price different? It's exactly that. I punched out by accident there. We were going to use this 187 now as our out. Like we said, we have our plan of action. So we get back into the short. I had to pay the spread because I was like, I didn't want to miss it. So in case it went down, I'd feel bad because of a keystroke error. So we get right back in, and we talk about that. If you make a keystroke error of getting into too many shares, you could just punch out. In the same way, if you make a keystroke error and get out of a trade that you still like, you can get back in. Unfortunately, on GameStop, there it goes out anyways. But unfortunately, on GameStop, the spread, it'll kill you on a keystroke error, right? So, but that's okay. We're out. We were wrong on that one. That's fine. We tested a GameStop lower. You know, we had $3 in target mind if it did go down, or about $1.50. So there it is. We go short, out. Took about $1.50 hit on those. But hey, you guys are right, man. People are probably saying in the chat now, don't short these names, and you're right. Probably should not have shorted GameStop, as now it's starting to go back up. And its brother AMC as well starting to get going. We still have this 30-80, but I'm wondering now if we just take it on a 50 period and see if we get runners into the close. But what's up, Ms. V?
Why can't it be?
Hey guys, me again asking you for likes, because we still need 24 more likes to get to 1,000. 25 likes is nothing. Please guys, bring some positivity and like some out. And also we have a super chat from Nick W. Thank you so much, Nick. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And Nick has a question for Neil. Can you give your thoughts on MTTR, Neil?
Yes, we can, Nick Dubs. I like calling you Nick Dubs, and if you don't like it, then just let me know. It's a lot of fun there. And look, anything that has a short interest, it's not huge. It's like 9% or so. But it's at least a little bit significant and is making moves. You've got to pay attention to it. So it's gotten beaten up. I get that. They don't make money yet, so we're talking momentum first things first. But you do have that. You are breaking out here off of this. It's like 850 is where you're breaking out from. I know you had the 50 period, but I'll go to the 15-minute chart just so you can really see. But you're really breaking out from this level. Whenever I see, like, there's your top, you break it, immediately reject that price and put in resistance. Like, it's almost like you pretend that didn't happen. Like, the significant break is coming from that 850, and it's starting to extend here. I think it's got legs to 10. Just be concerned about the fact that if you start to see this run end on some of these squeeze or meme type names, and by end I mean like significant retracements, like you can have a down day, like GME's flat on the session. That's not it ending. Getting back below 165 and testing 150 would be it ending. That's what you have to be concerned about when you're trading this, because they don't make money. This is a pure momentum play where you're trying to pick a bottom, or if you were talking about the long term, it's just got, like, it's probably not a bad entry point if you believe in it. I'm not going to be able to comment strongly enough on that. But these are the types of plays when you get it on a day one, and assuming you have the long, a lot of times I make that assumption, assuming you have the long, it's pretty clean to like $9.50, $10, which it hasn't gotten to yet. So if you've taken some out on the way up, it's like, okay, it's day one, it's day two for the squeeze plays. You've still got some room. You haven't even had a couple of explosive days. There's always the chance that you can get more. I always believe in taking some out and making sure you play some with house money. So if you've got it, great looking consolidation breakout today. It's above the 50. It's got enough of a short interest that it can be a sympathy drag. Like if you think if GameStop and some of these others start running and do one of those crazy things that we saw yesterday, that something like this can't get dragged up as good as it looks down here. Yeah, like those are the types of things that you hold on to if you can get a chance. But it's more of a swing type of an idea. Back to GameStop. Hopefully it works out for one of us, because like it's still, like it broke back above, so that 87's in the money, but 1-to-1 is still up here closer to 189 for me. So that's what I need to push into, and it's not there yet. So GameStop hasn't, oh, there it is. All you got to do is complain about it. Yep. And we'll use this one. Actually, I'll give Miss V the credit for it, because she just had to come with the super chat. And that got GameStop to go to the upside. So we'll do one of those Superman action trades for her. But I'm still looking for this to clear 190 and get into this level up here, like 192. It's a little bit late in the day with less than 15 minutes till the imbalances. To start hoping for $200. I kind of feel like that ship has sailed for today, unless you're thinking about the aftermarket. But we can still maybe get back into this 92, 93 area, maybe even just 91. We'll see how it goes. But I do want to be out of this by about 350. Well, if it's still in the money and moving, we can hold on to it closer to the close. But if it stalls out here, I don't want to hold it in the last 10 minutes if it can't continue the move.
Yeah, good look there. Yeah, AMC rocket as well. Yeah, GME through. We're still waiting for that level on AMC, but I'm wondering if we should just take it now, a 3070 break instead of a 3080 break. So only because of GME is starting to get that movement going here. So let's try it maybe. Let's try 71 or so. And then if we get going, we can even take more shares through 80. So if it takes out that level right there, I mean, that's close enough to me. We should have really taken that 50 period, but we didn't. I did want to look back at Facebook. You guys know we were long on this name and we got out. It's now barcoding, so that's good enough to me. If we take out 231, then we're going to go longer again on Facebook as it just keeps on moving to the upside. This is a 20 period, just straight up, straight fire. And then you're coming up to the 50 period again here, and that's great. So that's 233. So let's see if Facebook wants to work out with that. But now you could see, obviously, these meme stocks starting to fall back down just a little bit. BBIG, name that we had yesterday, that's, again, at this 330 level. That looks like a decent short you could have again. Softy's still ripping. Yeah, tell me about it, man. This is the only negative stock we have all day, right? And then there it is right there, not going through the level. And Softy today, we actually were long. Where's my 1 minute chart here? As I'm losing my voice again. Where's my 1 minute chart? Oh, there it is. Oh man, I gotta have a better organization here. Oh, we have this wick. Boo. It's gonna look bad, but here, I'm gonna zoom back in here. Yeah, so we were long earlier, man. 310, 312. We actually were on the sticky note that we liked that 312 area. I'm long into AMC now, by the way. That just broke 71. Okay. We're long into AMC, but yeah, look at this. We got out on the 310 break, right? Technical break there, 310 got out. It did make that bottom at 309, weren't looking at it, and then now just rid this 50 period all the way up, all the way to 315. Yeah, good call, whoever that was, about that. But yeah, Softy's still completely ripping. And what is this level? 315. So you still have, I don't know. I don't know if I want to go short on this, but you still have that 315 right there coming through. But the market is trying to crack here a little bit. You know what?
Oh, not this again.
What is this? 315. I think this is 314.86. Let me just check it on eSignal because I want to make sure because I don't want to be affected by this big volume candle that obviously didn't happen down here to 301. Yeah, that's right. Okay, it's still right. 314.86. Yeah, it's good. Okay, so if we break back down below 315 here, we're going to look for this break. I'm going to take the short on Softy, 314.90. I don't know what the expected imbalances are. We can get those soon. In 10 minutes, the imbalances do come out, so we have to look out for those. So I'm going to watch out, man. If we take out this 50 period on a negativity here coming into the market, then yeah, we'll do that, man. It's a nice upsized day for the NASDAQ, up almost 2%. So maybe we do give some back into the close. And again, this is nothing. I'm huge long Microsoft. Well, Microsoft's one of my big positions, so I do believe in the stock. There's no doubt about that. But if we take down below this 314.90, then we do want to go short on Softy.
So just if you heard me say uh-oh and not this again, so GameStop was working above 190. I'm going to pull up AMC here for a second. If you remember back on Friday, at least I think it was Friday. It could have been Thursday, but right about this time, or maybe 10, 15 minutes earlier, Thursday or Friday on AMC, there was some like rather large orders on the offer that were sort of following it that may or may not have wanted fills. Well, I just saw 55,000 and I think it was at about 65 flashed. It got to the price and pulled. I haven't seen it come back, but we saw what this, like there was something very similar that happened on Friday, and what ended up looking like a bounce in AMC and then maybe taking out the high just turned into like a slow grind into 4 o'clock to the downside. So I've only seen it once, but if I see that come back again, I'll probably just end up taking out the GameStop trade. I don't really need that to happen. Look, orders out there, like it got to level 1, it could have been filled. It didn't fill, it actually got pulled, but in theory, it's one of those gray areas in the market. It was out there. It could have been hit. It didn't get hit. GameStop's consolidating anyways at 190. And if I thought we were going to try to press into 191, 192, it's not like I was holding out for 195. And with less than 10 minutes until the imbalances come out, we do have to get flat anyways. I know some traders are still looking at that IGMS. And if you went long off VWAP, I think I saw someone just say that they did. There's still that 28 level which is held. And at this point, that's like your line in the sand. If it gets below there, there's so much room down to 25 even. Maybe you can give it a little bit past that stop, although that can be dangerous with something that has the biggest spread as this. But it's really starting to roll over. I thought it would do this at the high of the day, not at 33, somewhere in the middle. But IGMS starting to fall. And of course, as I said that on AMC, I should have just punched out of GameStop. Now GameStop back into 188. It could have got out at 190. Just should have done it.
Yeah, we took a whopping, we did get into AMC. Remember I told you once it breaks at 7, I was like, uh-oh. But it went down, it didn't go, and we're just like, forget it. I'm going to either use that 80 level or nothing. So we get out for 10 cents, and then now it's going back down to the downside. So we're out of that one. And I decided to change up the game a little bit here, and we went long on Softy. So again, what I was thinking about here was you could see the strength. We've traded against the trend before, and it just hasn't worked. So we don't want to do that here again. So we'll wait to see if the market fades out and we get hit. We have our out, which is now basically 314 and change. So we'll try along here on Microsoft. We'll average in almost now into the low teens here. We'll see if we get another bid for Softy average in. I've actually put it at 06 because we're going to use like 80 as our out. Oh man, now the market's coming back in. So this is the problem when you trade the close, right? And it's just you are sort of sitting here. I don't know, exposed to whatever the market wants to do. So that's why it's tough to put on big positions coming into the close, because you do have the rebalancing. You do have people positioning themselves for tomorrow, possibly cashing out of winners. So it's like one of those things where I can explain numerous reasons why the stocks may go up today or down today. And that's just, we don't have the rest of the day to absorb moves. So right now we'll try it. We'll play the momentum. Microsoft's been super strong. Maybe this is a pullback in the market, but if we take out this 50 period, generally speaking, I don't want to look long anymore. And that's what the NASDAQ's trying to do. So we'll try it just one more time here on Softy. We're about to average into this trade. And if this breaks our back, then that's it. There we go. We're long at 06s there. Yeah, so we got that fill. Actually, it took us out. So now our average price here on Softy, just so you guys know, is 23. You can see that on the board. And now we'll wait. If it takes, it's hard to zoom in because we have this wick here, but if we take down here about 315, 314.80 or so, then we're going to get out of here. So 314.80, we're out of here on Microsoft. We're now out of the money a whopping 5 cents. So let's see what happens here as this market's getting ready to close. If the NASDAQ just ticks up a little bit, we should have a decent win.
Yeah, I had to get out flat there of GameStop. And like I said, I should have probably just punched out once I saw like that order start driving down AMC. And then on GameStop, someone kind of did the same thing when it broke 189. They just threw it was about 110,000 shares, so a fifth the size. It's a more expensive stock. So it was actually a bigger order on GameStop on the way down here, and that got me out at flats. Sometimes you see something like that this late in the day, you should just take the profit because there's no point just running away from it. It is what it is. Like I was talking about it, I wasn't that convicted that it was going to push the stock to the downside because I only saw that order one time on AMC, but it ended up doing it anyways. Vinco Ventures, on the other hand, did go to the upside here, and it did challenge these highs. This is the top, that you had for the last week and a half. It's 340. It's right here, right now. It's too late in the day to. I don't know. You could pay for shorts to trade it for 15 minutes. I don't think that makes a heck of a lot of sense. So you're not going to see me put the trade on because I didn't really anticipate that there'd be a setup like this where it would have failed a couple of times to break out, start slowing down at the high of the day. So I'm not going to pay for shorts at 345 to try to scalp this one off. But it is at that overhead resistance. That's kind of horrible timing. But you know what? I don't see much else testing the top right now outside of Vinco Ventures. So there's a decent chance it could run. It's in the pocket where maybe there's a small long on a 40 break, but we're close enough to the end of the day that it better happen quick. Otherwise, I don't want it.
We're rocking on this Softy trade right now, by the way. So we just took this. We were long at 23. It's at 53. And we do have a decent position because we averaged in. I'm just editing the chart here so you could, it still doesn't help that much. But here it is, right? We buy it ahead of that 50 period. Now it's starting to go to the upside. So here's some outs, man. In the 40s, we just took a 56 out as well. So our average price at the time. Remember what our system shows you? It doesn't show you the trades properly, like for the ins and the outs as far as our average price. It's just like the first in, first out type of thing. So now it's going to show me long at 06, but that was the reload. My average price was 23. So now that you're seeing that come through here, Microsoft right back up to the upside, and we're pretty happy about it. So nice little move, but now it's kind of bouncing around. I'll take another out here if we can and be out of half of our trade if we can get a 55 print. So there it is, a nice little out right there. Yes, sir. So yeah, trying to cash in a little bit. And like I said, we're really look, I'm happy it's working. So forget about it for anything else. But it's just, we are, like I said, you do give yourself up to the futures there. It did bounce off the 50 period, which is nice. Easily could have just kept on going. So that's why you always got to, Softy. Now 60 cents in the money. You got to have your outs, right? And if you don't have them, then it's no point. But here we go. Wow. Okay. Now Microsoft's getting excited, and so am I. Bang, right there for a nice little one. We go as hopefully the Maple Leafs can score some goals here. As we're going to the upside, 315.80. Yeah, buddy, we just took this on Microsoft. What's up? If Sean had a taco thing, I would hit it. Okay, I'm going to go with this. Maybe we will get me firing off some tacos. It came with that, they call it the hot dog cannon or whatever when they're firing stuff off at games. So that's where we had that right now. But there goes Microsoft right up to the upside. Brendo.
Another one, guys. I was just going through a list of stocks with very high short percentages. I didn't even realize it, but this one popped up as well. Big Lots is 25% short, apparently, so 6% to the upside today, breaking above key levels here as well. So another one to kind of keep in mind.
Big Lots of all things. Why not? And with the market trying to get back to the upside, we're back at that 185 level on GameStop. It's almost too tempting to try and take a shot at it. We did get out of the long, but that was an 87 long. But if it's going to bounce off 185 again, it just feels like that's the last-ditch trade. But it's got to move, and it's got to move now. Vinco Ventures, if you did take a short at 39 off of that 340 level, it is starting to peel back a little bit, but they were not free locates for that scalp trade. If you'd already paid and you've been using them all day long, that's kind of the thing. Like, it's worth it there. You probably got a couple of trades out of it. But when there's only one trade to be had and you're not going to get it again, I'm not going to chase it. If I get one shot at GameStop, it'll be this 185, and maybe you can bounce off it a last time. But imbalances are about to come out. Square, by the way, there's so many. We talked about PayPal, but I could have easily just mentioned Square as well, or Block. You should call them Block. You could easily talk about that one as well. It's breaking out, but it's got resistance at 150, obviously a psychological level there, and you've got to watch out for that. But at GameStop, here is 185. Can it hold? Can it hold? It hasn't so far. There it is. Oh, did it even break? No. I saw like there's one dark pool print there. Yeah,
there's some news from Zelensky here, the Ukraine Prime Minister. Okay, yeah, Neil will deal with that order type there, but apparently doesn't really trust Russia. Okay.
What?
Yeah. Surprise.
No comment.
Alert. No, he's just saying that he doesn't, only concrete, results from the talks can be trusted. Like, so obviously, I mean, I think that's, anyways, I don't know if the market
that go
thought,
without saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know if the market thought that for some reason they could trust whatever comes out of these talks. The only thing that's going to work, man, is when you see those troops start to backpedal. That's the only thing that I think is going to cause any sort of disruption here for this market. So now we're starting to go down the downside. I do have this up here. This is the imbalances. So very, very soon, none of these are all from 9:30. We've talked over and over about how these work. So hopefully we can show it to you live here coming up very, very soon. What happens when these levels break and what happens when the imbalances come out. So that's that. We will see what happens here as we're getting ready to go. So the imbalances are coming out now in only 40 seconds. So these are all going to change. I don't know if they're going to come by. Prad, where is Prad? Oh, he's not here. That's why. Normally he puts the imbalances in the chat for us. So is he here?
No, I think he.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. There's only 30 seconds to go. So I don't know if they were buy or to sell side. I haven't looked it up, but someone put in the chat, I think it was like 30 cents or something. 300 million to sell, I think it was. I saw somebody. So we'll wait to see.
Small.
As a small sell. Okay, as it's coming back down. I'm going to take advantage here and take out another piece of Microsoft just in case. So there it is. We take out some 30s as it's about to come out. So let's see what this does to the market. If it rips up, great. We're long. Otherwise, we'll take a short. It doesn't matter. We're only holding 20% of Softy now. It looks like, I don't know, Microsoft's dancing here, but it's not really going down, so we'll wait to see. Now it's touching 315 O's right now. Sonos there, a big sell side. Rivian with a buy. Look at that. Look at Rivian now starting to go back up right now to the upside. Other than that, man, CCL, we didn't look at it today. That's a small buy, and that's it. So now, it's, what started? It was Apple. Look at the Apple move here. So Apple just went down about actually not even 50 cents on that move. So Apple is the sell. So that might have caused a little bit of fluctuation in the market there, but I think that gets paired off and probably goes back up to the upside. So Apple with the sell, another uneventful day sort of. What you're looking for on these imbalances, multiple millions on here, and you don't see anything. So Sono, again, it's only a $30 stock, so not a huge move there, but that was a sell, right? So you could see, or was it a buy? Looks like Sonos just ticked up there. Hold on a second. That was a buy, yeah.
Brendan bought Sono to us yesterday.
Yeah, so there it is there. Yeah, there was some sort of a deal or something yesterday. Sono with a nice move there on the buy. You can see like the gap up. So yep, that's the imbalances brought to you by nobody and Day Trade the World. So that's who's brought to you by the imbalances brought to you by Day Trade the World.
Yes, we can. So every now and then we talk about like what you can do with the imbalance trade, and this is why we go over it. So Rivian, remember 55? we're like, oh, Vivian could always pop into 55, and then that would be the level that you wanted to short. Well, there was not a gigantic buy imbalance, but guess what? Like 900,000 shares was enough for it to break out at 54, get to 55, well, 54.83, short it in front of that, and then pop back to the downside. That's what you can do off the imbalance play. It's not necessarily that you will ever catch the breakout, because the algos have that under control. Unless you are a robot like Arun is, then maybe you can pull that trade off. But there is always a fade trade. If there's a stock that's not at the level that you're looking for just yet, then maybe a small or decent buy and balance can take it to that level, and you can fade it. They are out there and put public so that they can be paired off. The idea is that they get paired off, so often you will get a reverse of that move. That's what happened in Rivian. Clearly 185 should have been a reversal. Like here, like this is I'm talking about GameStop here. Like this is what's now
AMC
happening.
tanked,
This is now what's happening on GameStop, right? So
it's the same level for AMC. You could have shorted 30. I mean, it's right here, right
both
on.
of them,
It's just
right
we're
here.
distracted. And
I bet you there's probably a few others that did the same thing. What am I thinking?
Whatever,
here?
cost probably,
like,
MTTR, I don't know.
Yeah.
Some of those other ones that are starting to move down here. But there goes AMC. It's the same exact level, man. And that's why, like when we didn't take 38, we got a little excited there because GME was, we thought maybe heading towards 200. Obviously it stopped at 191. And I thought, okay, maybe AMC was getting ready to do this again. So, but as you can see, when we're right, it's 20 cents. When we're wrong, actually that was 13 cents. So it's kind of the same thing. But quick outs anyways. Actually, no, that must have been more than 20 cents because that doesn't seem, that's 70 and that's out at 50. Yeah, okay. So that was 13. But there's the break right there of 30. We love those level breaks, and we just weren't on it. And then just to give you guys one more update here, because Softy obviously came out the same way. So, you know, VWAP, or sorry, 50 period got up there, but still a very profitable trade. I told you we're only holding 20%. And there's the out, right? And as a day trader, just if you're joining us now, you might not want to care about the imbalances too much. But again, there is advantages to getting flat, which is why you saw that. That's right at 349, because we were already right on Microsoft here, and we already rewarded ourselves. But I just only wanted to hold 20% left. So we have all these outs. We held 20% just in case. So I did save myself a few dollars there by getting out something for profit, like right there. Long at 03, out 30s, right? That's 27 cents. That same 03 just came out at 84 or whatever it was. So we actually wound up making money on that. So that was a good move and a good decision to get out of that. But wow, I mean, some of these stocks have just been going so strong here. I just showed you that Facebook name, or I guess we could call it Meta. The move, wow, back in, wow, that was a good sell too up there. But you know, look how far this thing has moved here in the last couple of days, right? I mean, we're just down to 186, which was that bottom that we highlighted right there. And now you're going all the way back up to the upside. We were going long down here all day on the show, and now it's up to 230, right? And so that's a big move. It wouldn't surprise me, although I am a bull, obviously, pretty much always. I'm going to stay long, like in my long-term account. I never really get out, although I did scalp some Nucor and things like that. But, you know, big time movements. You know, this probably needs to settle around 220, 218. So wouldn't be surprised if the NASDAQ does pull back a little bit here in the next couple days.
But look at, yeah, there's a lot that pull back. Like a firm just pull back off 49 to 48. I see you guys, Micron, that just pulled back heavily as well. Yeah. I thought, like, I'm probably not going to be in any trades. Like Rivian was like that trade off the imbalance, that little spike that gave you 55. Like that's the last trade for me. But I threw a kind of jokes. I've been sitting here waiting to be on the clock in my baseball pool. It's like
I saw that.
It's a 3-hour clock, and these guys have taken forever to get to the first round. I'm actually up right now, and I'm like, I'm going to be on air. I'm not going to be able to make the pick. But I actually think I will take Matt Brash, pitcher for Seattle. I'm going to go with him. And that's a good look there. Alan Ashby, I like him. I know my prospects, but I need a guy that might be starting in the rotation, and so I'll go with Brash. And I'm not going to take Mike Trout. It's not a startup dynasty. I've been in this thing for 10 years. I will say this:
Mike Trout,
I've been in 8 finals in the last 8 years, so I kind of feel like they all hate me, but it is what it is. Got to do what you got to do.
You might have to enter a league with a little more skill.
That's my bet. My number one league is that one. The one with, with Zane and those other guys. But
yeah,
this
that's
is like,
what I mean. Guys with more skill.
I'm not going to trash talk these guys. What if one of them is watching?
I'm only trash talking Zane. I don't know anybody else.
He's not in that.
Oh, he's not in that?
No, not this.
Oh, okay. Then I take it back because I don't know anybody probably. Your friend Dan, maybe.
Yeah, he's in. Well, no, his best friend's in there.
Yeah. Here we go.
The other customs guy.
Yes. Fahad
Brendan?
says go to over there, so let's go.
Yeah, let's check some earnings, guys. I was just double checking some of the chip makers, all kind of flat at this point. But Micron, yeah, there it is. the one coming tonight for its report?
Like I actually forgot about the Micron earnings to look for them on the imbalance. That being said, it's not like I know they made a move, but they didn't come out there on the imbalance look at it. And we should watch this because Micron has just recently broken out on the daily chart, which is usually a pretty good start if you can end up holding that kind of a level that's that tight. I just can't remember the last one of these big cap names that didn't put in a 10% move. So your resistance into support at 80, it's a little bit tight to the vest. So you feel a little bit better at like 75 or something like that because I just can't see any way it's not going to move big, right? Like this stock just a few weeks ago was trading in the 90s and made all the way down to like 66, and now we're back here, and we've just only broken out at 80 bucks. And it had been the weakest of the chip makers sort of going into this earnings event, and you're probably still going to get some concerns over the supply chain. So I want to be bullish about it, but I'm really struggling to be so on Micron.
Yeah, I said earlier on the morning show my affinity for Lululemon. I've never been a stockholder, but I love the company. Down here, actually, no, I did own the stock at one point, but it's been so long ago. It's a Canadian company, so I mean, I was in this name like 30, 40, 50 bucks and then got out of it, obviously. I mean, couldn't have really expected this kind of explosion, but what a name. I mean, this stock always works, honestly. It's a good name. You're going to find them talk about some supply chain issues. The thing about it is, if you see you've kind of making this nice bottom, I think it might be a little long or sort of late to get into the long rate now, but I don't expect too many bad things. Remember Nike came out with a nice report, and I just feel like Lululemon got some love from Nike as well on that report because they're very similar as far as the clothing line. Remember about Nike though, their digital presence is huge. I don't know, honestly, I don't know if the same thing is true for Lululemon. If it is, then I feel better about them. But here's Nike, made these bottoms, then on earnings popped right back to the 50 period. So, you know, if you take that for something on Lulu, then I do think that you have a similar pop right there, although we're above the 50 period. I don't know. I'm a little nervous about it. If Lulu trades back down here into 280, 300, then I'm a buyer, but I can't really say that I expect this thing to do that. So Lululemon right now on the watch for me, but yeah, Micron definitely the name to trade. And there was one more on there. I don't remember what
Lulu's
it was.
Chart's better though, because like look at the breakout on the daily.
Yeah, I know.
That's a better
like
chart.
it, but it's just like, you know what? Pratt always says this, and this is the one thing, and it's true. It's like, we don't know what they're going to guide or what they're going to say. So like my opinion on, you know, how awesome those pants are and things like that has nothing to do with if you should buy the stock.
But you know what? If you didn't write down Dave & Buster's to look at it after earnings, well then you didn't get a chance to trade it. That's the way I look at it. Like I ignored Dave & Buster's today, and it was one of the better moving stocks. Like that was a great opportunity off the open. Just kind of don't sleep on anything in earnings season. If it reports, then it's worth looking at and going over those levels in the morning. It looks like we're going to have the usual here, and we'll do our best to make sure that the camera gets away from our mugs and gets on Tony and Miss V for the bell so they can bust a few moves here. The market pulling back, but hey, it's still a green day. We're still going to close to the upside here, so you can always take that to the bank. Still in the midst of this rally. It's been a fun one, obviously, but don't put it on me. They're already preparing the dance moves. Tony's locked and loaded and ready to go. Let's get this countdown and just enjoy.
I feel like the camera needs to be tilted a little lower here, but here we go.
Yeah.
10 seconds left.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and ring it. Yeah, it's too high. Something like that before.
There it is. I like that. Yeah, good move there. Yeah. Tony Toronto. I don't think we have an official name for him yet. I like Tony Toronto. You like Tony the Tiger, I think.
What's wrong with the original name?
That's what it was.
It was like
right?
the first time he came on the show, he was Tony the Tiger, and then all of a sudden we're changing the name?
Yeah. I know.
If it ain't broke.
I don't know. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But we did it. He needs a haircut. Yeah, I think from day one, boys. Okay, let's go over there without spoiling it too much. What an amazing day. The NASDAQ did rebound a little bit at the close off that imbalance, then the flip over on the imbalance. So let's go ask Brendan. Oh, Brendan, how did we wind up?
Nicely positive, guys. Was just double checking to see how much this rally has continued. I'll let you know in a second here, but here we go. This is the way the board looks. 1.2 there for the S&P, the Dow, about a full %. You can see where some of the meme stocks were today, 2.7 there for the Russell 2000. The NASDAQ up 1.8 and 1.6 there as well for the 100 and the composite. So yeah, nice day, guys, right across the board.
There's no way Tony even knows who this is, but I really, really like that from Renee, Tony Travolta.
What's wrong with that? Why wouldn't Tony know who that is?
You want to call Tony back over here right now? Tony, come here.
No, well, we don't have any faith. It's, like,
No, I don't.
It's pretty famous.
I don't have any faith whatsoever.
Right, well-
Tony, okay, come here. I have to ask
This
you
is
something.
for real, by the
This
way.
is for real. This is happening.
for real.
This is happening for real, live.
All right.
Okay, do you know who John Travolta is?
Kind of.
Who is he?
A movie star.
Okay, it's good enough. You win. All right, good job. But you don't know one movie, right?
He was in like this movie about the
I'm
environment.
gonna lose here about the environment. Okay, I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, if you said Greece, you're right, or anything like that.
Or something.
Deep Waters. Okay.
What the-
Not Samuel L. Jackson. Okay. Or who wasn't he in Deep Sea? Didn't he get eaten by a?
First of all, like I know movies.
First of all, you win that one. I didn't think he had
but
any,
I know
any
movies.
chance
Like
of-
I'm one of those people. Like I see, like I can tell you, like IMDb. What's the first thing they were in?
Right.
Environmental movie and John Travolta is not really ringing a bell,
I
but
think he's thinking. You know what? I think he's thinking like Scientology and stuff like that. But he didn't.
Battlefield Earth, he's maybe.
He didn't go there. So.
That's the worst
But anyways,
movie
no,
ever
I lose. I didn't think you would know who John. So join us daily now, Brendan. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say you forgot one. Face Off.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of. We forgot
Pulp
lots.
Fiction.
I mean, forgot lots.
No, Face Off is a terrible movie. That's the point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pulp Fiction.
I mean, we could go on. I mean,
My
on and on.
brother actually pulled off the best. So him and his buddy, and you can guess who was Jules. But anyways,
kid
he
could never
grew out his facial hair for the entire year just so he could pull off. They could pull off Pulp Fiction. Both of them grew it out for real.
Is it
so there was
Deep
no
Blue
waiting on it.
Sea?
He was not in Deep Blue Sea.
I don't know. That's why I
Samuel
said
L. Jackson was in Deep Blue Sea. Like, how do you?
That's why I said Samuel L. Jackson. But you could just say random movie, and most likely Samuel L. Jackson is actually the #1 box office.
Is that
of all
still
time.
true though?
Yeah. Because he's been in like every Jurassic
Star Wars,
Park,
Jurassic Park.
Star Wars.
not
He's been in
working, by the way.
like you said, Pulp Fiction. I mean, Pulp Fiction's not as big as those other ones, but as a cult movie, obviously it is. Okay, let's go.
Say what again?
Micron beat, guys. Micron's
Ooh, Micron, okay, right away. Like Neil and I both go right over to our computers here to see. Yeah, Micron beat. I mean, I would have guessed a beat here, but we're going to see it's up to 85.35 right now and running. But okay, everyone's going to get. We got to go. So it's 4:03 right now. Thank you for watching Trader TV. Thank you to Brad, who's not here. Thank you to Ms. V over there today. We got the 4. Yeah, there we go. Thank you to Mark. Thank you to Lucas. Thank you to Fahad. Everybody. Thank you to Tony to Tiger over there, or Travolta Tony, or whatever we're going to go with. We want to thank everybody. Thank you to Greg. Thank you for all the traders behind us. We are Trader TV Live. There's more to come tomorrow, 8:30. Be here or be square. Ciao.